online with a son of a bitch. Hopefully we'll get Christina back here. There, Pimmy's back.
She may not rejoin, thinking, understanding she mentioned.
Yeah, she does have work to deal with, but yeah. I just went straight live this time, and I'm going to start inviting circles. I'm going to give up on the attempt to do the PowerBlue insert at this point because fuck it. Google's being a major pain in the ass. I'm going to ask Perry usually to keep an eye on the stream anyway, so if you wouldn't mind, let me know if it starts screwing up, even with running it straight through regular Google Hangouts.
You got it.
Really kind of ticked off. I wanted my chat box tonight because I finally got the ability to actually utilize it again.
Okay, we have no screen. We're black.
It takes a couple minutes for it to kick in.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Do that again. And regular shuffle crowd. I have too many fucking circles. There we go. I'll invite some Christians for the hell of it. The smaller group. The people that I usually can put up with. Granted, I think there might be one or two in there that need to be moved to another group, but I haven't been really keeping up on the circles lately.
While you're at it, send the link to Prudence. He's just going to ask for it anyways.
Yeah, he probably will. He's in, I'm not sure what circle he's in, actually. I don't know.
He's in a circle all to his own.
No, he's not, actually. I do have some people in circles all to their own, but they're not invited right now.
Okay.
Actually, one of them is, but... And actually, I have to add a second person to that circle now that I think
If you have people that are in circles all on their own, why don't you just put them all in one circle together?
No,
circle.
I have a circle for my patrons.
Oh, okay. There's just only one person in there right now.
Yeah, well, he's the one that's been the patron the longest. I do have other patrons that I just haven't added in yet. But
Yeah.
I do have a circle just with the people that are with me on Patreon.
Yeah.
And the most recent one I haven't added in there yet, and I really need to fix that. I just haven't quite gotten to it. Unfortunately, I was going to run this with the regular interface and regular chat box and all that other stuff, but for some reason tonight, Google hates me. I thought it was that I was trying to run it in 1080. It screwed up on me. I tried downing it to 720. It was still screwing up. So yet again, it's doing that thing that it'll only do it old school style, so to speak, and I'm going to have to see what I can do about that in the future. But for now, I need to get this sucker streaming again because, I mean, I hate all the false starts and that stuff, especially because each time I have to go out there promote that, oh, I'm broadcasting to such and such, and then when it craps out like that, it just looks really bad. But what can you do? No, at least I can switch my audio over and dispense with a headset tonight. Because when I'm exporting, I cannot use this headset. Or rather, I have to use the headset, rather. But yeah, initially I was planning on going after and doing some stuff for the PowerBlue as well to try and get some sound bites. It looks like I'm probably going to be mostly scrapping that because I was going to try to get a short discussion going. And unfortunately, most people that I know of that have had some experience with lucid dreaming aren't showing up tonight for whatever reason because, you know, they're busy involved with the move, or Jordy, who would be always great for those kind of conversations, he's without a headset right now. And Boom has not returned. Granted, Paris here. Christine, it'd be nice if she can rejoin. I don't know whether she'll be able to. She does have to work later tonight. So we're not going to cover that too much. But that's a topic that I'm going to have to cover for the sake of the next PowerBlue. And I might just do more of a solo video with it because these false starts are just frustrating the heck out of me. And I'm sure they're frustrating you, the audience, as well, but there's not much I can do about it. When Google is screwing up, Google's screwing up. And apparently I'm not the only person that's had issues with it tonight, so...
Nope.
And that noise there is my phone letting me know that I just started a Hangout. I might have figured that out on my own.
Your phone was just checking to make sure it was you who started the Hangout.
Well, my guess would be that the Hangout itself won't actually be live properly until the sonic screwdriver goes off.
Yeah.
By the way, I'll let you know, Shadow, when I was younger, my first lucid dream was when I was dreaming in cartoon and realized, wait a minute, this isn't real.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, a lot of the time, for me at least, with a lot of my lucid dreaming, it was always suspension of disbelief kind of kicking in. That there's just some quality about the dream, and it's like, nah, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
So that explains what happens to the coyote then when he runs off the cliff.
Actually, it was Daffy, Taz, and Bugs. I don't remember much more than that.
Yeah. The coyote runs off the cliff and realizes this can't be real, and then falls.
Well, it's kind of the transition between, standard dreaming and lucid dreaming. A lot of the time is that realization that you realize you're in a dream, and then you're able to start taking control of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people in the New Age community, I guess I'm going to talk about this anyway, will take this to claim that they're traveling to other worlds and these are real things that are happening. And it's like, no, dude, you're just have some influence over your own dream, you moron. But they don't look at it that way. And what I think is hilarious, and I'm going to be featuring this in the next Power of Wu installment, because I'm going to skip the tail end of the 5th set, because I honestly don't remember what the final topic of that set was supposed to be. That apparently went the way of the brain cells that went with a stroke. No idea what the hell the 3rd topic was supposed to be after getting finally done with the Indigo Children thing. So I'm just going to move on to topic 6 right now, which is going to be things like I'm going to do a little bit on lucid dreaming, a little bit of out-of-body experiences, and a bit on astral projection and this kind of stuff. I might touch on the topic of dream walking a little bit, but that one's a little bit okay, as I've said before, because I did the shaman thing for quite the period of time years ago. The whole dream walking thing was something I kind of did during that time period. And yet again, it's another one of these situations that is something that I never really sat down and thought about and analyzed properly. I did to some degree, and well, there's a small portion of it that I can't fully dismiss. The majority of it I know is bullshit, because you have these experiences that you feel like you've stepped out of your own dream into somebody else's, or that somebody else has stepped out of their dream into yours, and the entire feel and everything pertaining to the dream seem to shift somewhat, and it just gets this totally different, very unique feel to it. Well, what's going on there? And I'd sit there and I'd call these people the next day on the phone, and unlike a lot of people like Spirit Science, and one of the experiences that he gives in one of his videos, that, and after he had this dream that he flew over to his friend's house over in Germany or some fucking place I don't remember, and he had to talk with him in the dream, and then he calls him on the phone and he's talking to him about it, and his friends are like, oh, yeah, and it's just, his friend apparently remembered it all. No, I don't do this whole, I tell people what I dreamt and then ask them, because then what happens is they start, maybe I dreamt that. And they start questioning, well, maybe it's a dream I don't really remember. And as you describe it, little neurons start firing, and they start feeling like maybe they do remember it, but they just didn't initially. And you get all these false positives when people are recounting these kind of things and talking to people about them. So what I would do is, after I had these experiences, I'd call my friends and I'd be like, I had a really weird dream that you had some participation in yesterday. I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. I'm like, yeah, it was kind of cool. And I wouldn't tell them anything about it. But if they'd also had a dream akin to that, I'd expect that they'd let me know.
Mm-hmm.
So there was none of this cold reading kind of stuff. There was no prompting or any of this stuff. And these people weren't having the same experience. Which says to me, it's kind of bullshit.
Or they dream about you and it wouldn't be the same type of dream or same thing at all. Just happen to be at the same time.
Yeah, and that's something completely different. Now, a friend of mine at one point had one of those kind of experiences that he was sitting there and he'd gone to sleep and he was having a dream. And he was having one of his regular dreams, which for him is very distinctive. This particular friend of mine dreams in charcoal paint.
Cool.
He dreams in charcoal drawings. And then his dream went full color during a brief time period. And he dreamt that a mutual friend of ours went by and was visiting him while he was at work. They had a very normal, boring conversation. Then my friend left, and then he went back to his regular dream. So to him, it's like, okay, this is really fucking weird. So I told him about this concept that they have within not merely the New Age thing, but this actually dates back much further to this notion of dream walking, which goes back to Native American beliefs, Wicca. All these other beliefs have notions similar to this incorporated in with their views. But that illustrates why people ascribe so much to these, because it will break from what seems like a normal dream, go into this really weird, almost like sub-dream, and then back to normal. And it just seems so disjointed and out of place among the rest of it that it becomes really memorable. But at the same point, I was like, oh, cool. So I called my buddy Doug, who was the one that visited him. I'm like, yeah, my roommate had a dream about you. And he goes, that's fucking weird. I'm like, yeah, isn't it? Weirder still, it was like in Technicolor, and his dreams are normally black and white. And he goes, oh, that is really weird. They say people usually dream in one or the other. He had no fucking clue what I was talking about. Nothing. So, no. That's not what it was. It's just, that's... Yeah.
I think that is the thing with dreams. It's like everybody wants to find something in dreams that are for real. So, and the thing, when something that is for real in dreams, then they miss that because they are so fucking, they are looking for things all the time. And then when they come, like you said, with the black and white thing and the color, color in my black and white dream, that's something. I think we are a bit obsessed with that we want to find something in our dreams, and then we miss all the real things, if there is real things.
Well, and this is kind of one of the things, is it gets to the point at times that people will start taking their dreams to mean, to the point we not only have dream analysis, we have people that will take their assumptions, that's what their dream might mean, or what some book says their dream might mean, and actually allow that to influence their life far more than it should have, kind of like with the, whether it be tarot readings or with astrology or what have you, that people think, oh, well, this is something that's, I need to pay attention to this because this is going to affect whatever,
Nah. Yeah. It is like me. I have dreams about the same person all the time, not all the time, but many times. I have a person in my dreams that have followed me since I was, say, 14 years old. And that person is a lady, is a girl that have followed me through all my dreams. And I could say, oh, I have an angel that follow me. No, I have a brainchild in my head. or I have an angel. But the thing is, I probably have a brainchild.
Actually, the term for those things is a tulpa, T-U-L-P-A, and for the people watching that haven't seen the series on tulpas, go watch it. The Angel and Demon series. That one actually came out really good. That was pre-stroke. I'm still trying to get back on track again for the new stuff, but I'm asking people for patience. That might take a month or so to get back on track, because there was some cognitive shit that hit me too. But we're working on getting back on track with that at least. But nonetheless, yeah, dreams are wild things to the point that there are some people that have tried stipulating that the dream world is the real world, and reality is the dream.
Yeah.
Which to me is just kind of what? But whatever floats your boat.
Well, there's people that come up with all sorts of weird theories about what reality is anyway, so that's just one more,
Yeah, and unfortunately we get into these kind of arguments all the time. And I almost wish Xbox was in here a little bit, because some of his views are out there in terms of his views getting into that.
He's got a hangout going now.
If that is real, well, who cares? We cannot make that much of it. We live here. So even if that was real, it doesn't help me.
It'd be a totally different definition of what real is.
Yeah, of course.
That's why when I get people asking me, I was raised doing dream interpretation, and still when I get people asking me, I have to remind them your brain is trying to figure things out. So when you're seeing these images, it's not necessarily a spiritual connection, anything like that. Your brain does not shut off when you're sleeping. And so, they'll come up with these weird things they're telling me about, and I'm like, well, it could be this, it could be this. What has been going on lately? Can you take what I just told you and piece the two and two together and go about your merry way? And they'll call me some days later and say, oh, this happened, and I kind of knew it was coming. And it's like, yeah, your brain was working on this. And maybe you subconsciously foresaw this, and your brain was trying to tell you, hey, something's coming up, whether it's work or whatever,
And a lot of that's actually dubbed in with foresight. You have such and such image, then an event happens, and then you're like, so that must have been talking about this, and then you'll get into this loop of connecting things that, in a lot of cases, weren't necessarily worthy of.
Yeah, it's very touchy. I don't like when I go to like different mystical shops and stuff where there's people doing Akashic readings and there's people doing interpretation like that and stuff, and it's like it is so subjective, and you know, unless you know what a person's symbols are and how their brain works, it's gonna be a guess.
Exactly.
And to sit there and charge for this sort of thing, I don't agree with.
Especially the Akashic readings, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I just can't.
I
Well,
see something. I worked in healthcare for a lot of years, and I worked with people with dementia. And the interesting thing with that is that many people that have dementia, they say things that are odd, but often they have a, what do you say, they have a real meaning, but they say it in an odd way. So every time I go to work with a dementia patient, I actually think in my mind, they have witnessed something, but they say it in an odd way. It sounds a bit like this. It's like they have seen something, they have witnessed something, they have done something, but they explain it in a way that they are like, what? If that makes sense, I don't know, but I hope it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's also the recent discovery of a cleansing mechanism in the brain when you sleep, and they think highly of this has to do with why you get imagery in that from dreaming. What happens is the synapses, I believe, shrink, and a chemical kind of does a wash that cleans the toxins out of the brain, and as it goes, there's a lot of firings going on, which could be triggering memories and patterns which aren't necessarily there, however, are connected because of this just chemical bath cleaning the system. But it only happens when you're sleeping.
And this explains why stress dreams are so screwed up.
Higher toxins.
Oh.
Everyone can identify with that one. Stress dreams are fucking weird.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. I had a dream one time before one show was going on theater that for some reason there was a problem at the theater and they had to move the show to my mother's family room. And I was, as stage manager, was jumping behind furniture to try to get around do things. What? I mean, you couldn't get this stuff even on acid, you know?
So I'm guessing by the end of the dream you wished that you just dreamt that you were naked on stage or something.
Oh, hell, I do. I have no problems doing that. Yeah.
I still to this day have stress dreams that involve either high school or college and either not knowing where I'm supposed to be or trying to juggle too many things at one time, like a job and school.
You know, my mom, before she passed.
It being at the end of a semester and I realize that there's a class I never went to.
Sorry.
Sorry to say, but I have stress dreams even when I'm awake. But
Yep.
Yeah.
Flashbacks, bitch.
My worst stress dreams, though, are unfortunately work-related, where I have forgot to do a check on a patient, or there's a piece of tubing disconnected, or a hole in it, or something, and the patient dies on me. And I get that about once a month. But then all my patients are full life support, so it kind of goes with the territory.
Yeah. You need a vacation, dear.
That's why I'm taking 2 weeks off after the wedding, and we're going up the East Coast, because it's like I'm taking a break. We're going to a bed and breakfast where they give massages in room, and
yay!
Fancy. Got your fancy finger up.
Did you do that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Although I had a really cool lucid dream last night. I saw the greatest ska stage for playing ship battles and ship role playing, where it was actually on this kind of small pond where they built these stages that looked like actual parts of the sailing ships, where you could go inside and interact and everything and do all your live action role playing on the set like that. And I'm like, I woke up and I'm like, damn, I want to build that. So, and I was fully aware that I was inside the dream and dreaming this, but I was interacting with everybody in it and, you know, going through the whole motions of it, and I was studying the set as I was dreaming about it. So I thought that I woke up this morning just really excited because that one was fun. It's like, I'm going to have to try to duplicate this.
There was a study, lucid dreaming, that was done. I think it might have been done in Canada, actually. Somebody referenced to me not too long ago.
McGill, probably.
It was trying to figure out the capabilities that people have while they're lucid dreaming. You know, just how much you can really affect the environment of the dream. And the level of changes that they were claiming, I was like, well, no, I can do a lot more than that. What the hell are you talking about? But of course, the study saying basically the study says you can only do this, and I'm like, I don't care what the study says. I can do more than that.
Yeah, it's like when they tell you.
I've got a rewind button when I have mine.
Yeah, and they tell you you can't read in a dream. I can read in dreams.
All that really says, 13, is that you should have been one of the study group. Then they would have had different results.
Actually, to me, it says more so that it's just that I've played more role-playing and strategy games, so I've had to run scenarios more often, because that's what I do is I'll rewind the scenario and start over. Or that because I write, I just have more of a creative streak.
I also think is a little bit of meditation and so on, because if you meditate, you find a way to capture more things. I don't say you get some divine ability or whatever, but you think more about your thoughts, and the whole thing with meditation is that you think, and you think, okay, I see the thought, I think about the thought, and I do something about it. And if you do something like that, you learn to control your thoughts more.
Introspection and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you, as a writer, have learned to think about things and control your thoughts more than a person that are not writer or not meditating and so on.
Yeah, I just have to get my head back into that too. That's going to be fun, because I was right where I needed to be then at the friggin' stroke. And this is the second or third time this has happened, so now I'm a little bit leery of getting back into the writing, because the last 2 times I've had a friggin' stroke. So I'm going to ask those that do watch my channel to bear with a little bit, because I'm going to try an experiment in the near future. And I'm going to ask my audience to participate in this experiment. And we're going to try a little bit of storytelling with assistance, if you guys don't mind.
Cool.
I've got a giant plot. I'm going to give a little bit of lead in as what the story is going to be. This, unlike my usual sci-fi fantasy, this one's going to take place in the real world, and it's a murder mystery of sorts.
Ooh.
I have several instruments.
It's too obvious at my house. I have too many swords, including a bronze gladius. So, yeah. I'm not kidding. We have a bronze gladius.
Now, the murder weapon's a baseball bat. That I already have.
Oh, I don't have a baseball bat, so I can't help there.
Nope, it's a Louisville Slugger. Good old wooden baseball bat.
Ooh, Al Capone style.
Those can hurt.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, that whole thing gets figured out later. I already know who the murderer is. That's already set. But that part is going to be told last. It's going to start off with people being... Basically, each edition of installment is going to be an interview with somebody that is connected to the victim to try and figure out who the person who done it was. And, of course, it's going to have a twist, because why not? But I have that little bit of it set up, but I'm going to try not to chart much of it out. And I'm going to see if we can get the audience involved with, like, you know, what kind of person you think should be interviewed next, or this kind of stuff. and I'm going to set it up and do it a little bit like, you're going to basically have the detective doing most of the legwork, and most of the installments will just be between the detective and whoever. Just have some fun with it. And this was inspired in part by a shuffle that I had in which we were talking about writing and literature and what have you. And at the time I was like, no, it's easy as long as your mind's in that writer's mindset. And I said, okay, give me a name, give me a place, give me a theme, and they picked murder mystery.
Neat.
Or thriller kind of thing. I'm like, okay, I can go with that.
Psychological thrillers are good.
So I'm going to try and play with that a little bit because it's what during that one particular shuffle people picked. So we'll go with that. And it's something that I normally don't do in terms of my writing. So what the fuck? Let's try something different. See if we can get those synapses firing.
Yeah.
Then after that, maybe I'll do another one that's on the shelf. I don't know. We'll see.
Minecraft can only do so much.
Well, yeah, that I could also be a total dick and decide, I will tell this whole thing through with the very last installment, Patreon. Wah, 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 wah. No. Patreon only. Fuck you. Ha. No, I'm not that much of an asshole. Well, maybe, but not yet.
I'm thinking there's some merit in being that mercenary.
Well, maybe with a different story. This one's too experimental. Because it's not a genre I work in, and seeing as I already have the real twists laid down, there'd be some people that would be like, dude, really? What the fuck?
You could extrapolate and use very similar form of argumentation to show that Microsoft isn't a software company. You do realize this.
Oh, they're an evil empire bent on taking over the world. All they need is the stormtroopers. I already have the Sith. I've met their employees.
Oh.
That and did you ever see what Vista looked like? Ooh, there's fruit.
Oh my God! My old laptop was running Vista. That was horrible. Horrible.
I mean, what I think it was Windows ME that they were marketing the hell out of when it first came out to corporations, and then about a month after they managed to make their first major batch of sales, they said, "Oops, we just found a major backdoor into it."
Mm-hmm.
That
I remember that.
thing is the only thing that worked on the damn thing was certified by Microsoft only. And that was very few.
And apparently the only thing that worked properly on the corporate edition was the fucking backdoor that allowed a massive system vulnerability. I mean, we were like a week away from a rollout, and then they said, stop the presses!
Yep.
I have to say that Microsoft is a hardware company because every time they update, I have to do hard things with my music programs. I have to reload everything. I have to do so much things.
Zoom had the same kind of problems when he initially went from 8, and then they offered him 10. He got signed up with 10. Everything worked great for a while. Then it just stopped working. Then 3 patches later, it worked again.
I just hate my music program in the PC, and the problem is, I love my program, but I hate Microsoft. They screw it up every time. It's like, no. Why?
No, the last Microsoft Media player I ever used was the original MPlayer 2. After that, no thank you.
Still have a copy of that somewhere.
I've
Used
still
to
got
be.
a copy of 98.
Yeah. So I think I've even got Windows 3.11 somewhere.
Actually, I have one on the hard drive.
Ooh.
One?
Yeah.
Is that even
What a pile of shit that was.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, there were 2 companies that both released a similar interface at the time. There was Windows 1 when it came out, and there was one that was made by Corel, I think it was. The one by Corel wasn't that bad, but they didn't have the marketing.
Oh
And
gosh, I
something
ran
was
it too. Oh crap! What was that
Dr.
system?
DOS?
No.
No.
It was called WIMP. It was called
No.
WIMP.
It might have been. I don't know.
Windows Interface Mouse Pointer. That's what it stood for. And
Oh,
I
there
believe IBM released a version of that.
Actually, they didn't really bother with theirs until they came up with OS2.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Yes,
the one I
OS2.
was running, was
Yeah.
OS2.
Yeah.
OS2
That was pretty good.
That was years later. That was actually that was around the time of '95, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Coral?
Yeah, IBM didn't bother trying to do theirs until after there already was a viable GUI interface.
Yeah, it might have been Coral actually.
OS2 also had a Unix underbelly. Underneath it,
Yeah.
it wasn't DOS based; it was Unix based completely.
I think it was so fun. My friend played music with. He had an Amiga, and that was the computer I began to play music in. And he wrote the drum tracks with the ones and zeros, and I was like, I'm so impressed of you.
Well, honestly, the Amiga system showed a lot of promise, but then it just completely fell through. It actually had the best graphics of the day when it first came out.
Yeah.
The Amiga 11 whatever was a really great computer, and it made, for music, it was like, yeah, I'm in heaven.
That was based on the Motorola chip, wasn't it?
It really didn't have the software support, though. No,
it didn't.
Yeah.
Well, the Amiga was originally called.
Threw the Amiga away because it had MIDI.
Hang on.
Atari, yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah, the Atari ST was good.
Hang on a second. I have to do my usual thing. There we go, Andy. You now have some volume.
Thank you very much.
Or it was
I had a.
so wonderfully good with that computer, so I was like, do this, and he write the digits, and yeah, it did that. So it might be that too.
No, I had an Atari 1040 ST, primarily for the MIDI.
Yeah, I had one of those. It was an awesome machine.
Oh my god, you guys.
I still have a copy of the TOS on disc.
I lost my teams.
Yeah, no, I don't. I gave it away with the machine.
My first system I had to build for myself. I was a little bit later, so to speak, entering the game because my parents weren't willing to waste money on something like that. You know, those things will never catch on kind of thing. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
They're toys. They're toys. There's nothing that's practical that's going to come out of it. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep, so do I.
My first recording system was wonderful. It was to that DAT, digital whatever, not the first, but the other one, and to that, and then we recorded all the tracks in one, and then we recorded the other tracks with the that playing to the other one, and then we ping-pong the tracks and so on and so on. So we could do, say, 2 or 3 takes, and that then the sound was like, no, you cannot listen to this.
They were in the good old days where we made lots of music and no money.
Mm.
Yeah.
What do you mean the good old days? It's still like that.
Like that.
Talking about now.
And now we do music and we don't have money. No change there.
Yeah. Plus ça change.
Yeah. Ping It, by the way, actually has a channel. It's PINGE Music, right?
Yeah.
Some good stuff on there. My wife actually really likes her work.
Oh, thanks. I'm like, every time someone say do something good in the music, I'm like, thank you.
No, the best response I had to one of my own pieces that I sang and have on my YouTube channel was the moment, was like a couple hours after I uploaded myself singing a cappella Scarborough Fair in my kitchen, somebody filed a complaint and tried to get the video taken down that I had stolen. I was standing there and lip syncing and must have stolen the music from someone.
Got DMCA'd for Scarborough.
For Scarborough Fair, yes I did. And I'm like, no, I'm standing in my kitchen singing. Do you want me to sing another one and prove it? You know, and so YouTube dropped it. But I'm like, really?
I got I got a DMCA. Okay, I've gotten some really weird DMCAs while I've been here. One of them was issued by the Church of Scientology for a slide that I used out of a BBC Panorama documentary that Scientology was claiming that they owned that slide. That was one of the more amusing ones. I got another claim, and this is the best one. There was a hangout that I ran quite some time ago that during the hangout for a couple minutes it went offline because Google screwed up. So it put in this slide saying basically it's a "we'll be right back" slide, and on that slide it has that in 3 or 4 different languages. This was during my little thing dealing with the Bill Nye debate. Now that I think of it, the Ham Nye debate, and I actually got a copyright notice on that for the fucking font used in the Google "we'll be right back" slide.
Oh my word!
I thought you were going to say, like, while you were
that's unreal.
MCA'd you for John Cage's 4 minutes and 36 seconds.
Oh no! This was actually the actual claim was because of a font used was made by some company in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
Wow!
That was your jihad video. No wonder.
I'm a musician and I like copyright in some way, but this is ridiculous. It's like if someone play my song, get a fucking advert on it and give me the money. Yeah. Don't fuck around with them. If they play my song in a video, they like my song or they hate my song, but who cares?
Yeah.
Give me the money.
Courtesy of international trade laws right now. There are 2 companies in Germany that apparently are overseeing all fucking music that is allowed to be played in that fucking country. So they claim to own every goddamn thing. Now, there's the Monty Python Sing CD, for example. This, I don't remember who actually made it, but in terms of distribution within Germany, Sony has it. And I can sit there and I can look at the fucking CD and say, this does not fucking say Sony anywhere on it. But no, in Germany, they have the rights for the distribution, and they are the most aggressive motherfuckers that's trying to tag them. But it's only in Germany.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When I began to distribute my music on the net and so on, then I was like, they hunted MP3s. So everywhere I went, they closed the site, not because my MP3 was wrong, because it was my music, but because MP3 contained music that could be other artists. And I was like, the first years I was like on 50, that's why my name is Pinch, not because I chose it, because that was the only name that they recognized me by. So I had to move to station to station, to place to place to place to place. And it was like, what the fuck? It's my songs. I've written them.
Yeah.
There's bots that go around.
Yeah, that was back in the day. That was a while back when The Business was trying to secure, effective monopoly on MP3s and MP3 distribution.
Yeah.
And it was fucking bonehead move from the start.
The old Metallica days.
Yeah.
Metallica. Oh, don't talk about them.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. It was trying to get across the idea that if it's in an MP3, then we inherently own it, and it's like, no.
And now they have bots that will go around and do really weird stuff on different websites that host music.
Oh yeah.
They'll take your name and your title, and they'll just put completely some random music on that track. but it's under your name. This is what happened to Brian. It's under his name, and it's his title of the song, but it wasn't his song when you played it. It's just bots. They're just botting. They're like trying to take ownership of everything.
And then I'll sue your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why I say economics is like another faith-based system. It's actually just like a religion.
It is, because you have to have faith that the other people are going to be playing in good faith, which 9 times out of 10 they're not.
Well, also the corruption of ownership.
Yeah.
I had a Russian site a couple of years ago that took my site and they copied it, and we ping music but RRU. So they took all my sites, all my music, all everything, and they just make the new ending of it. It was like, so someone in Russia really profit from my music. It's like, oh, what the fuck? Okay, they do. They are rich in ruble. It's like, okay.
Yeah, see, a lot of the time,
what you're saying is they made $10.
Yeah, a lot of the time, it's trying to leech traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're just trying to get all of the music compiled onto one website, so they have people go. And there's a financial incentive for what they did with Brian.
It's all traffic. Traffic generation.
Just like
they get all the music on their site. They set up AdSense. They make $10, but that's $10 from every poor motherfucker. Like
it costs. Yeah, it costs them nothing to steal your song, or to go to your site and steal all the titles. You know, they just need quick titles and a quick name of a person.
If I got that dollar or cent or whatever, my life would be much easier.
I know.
Yeah.
There's so many good, talented people who are not signed. Brian plays some of them on the radio. There's that they dedicate time and give unknown people airtime.
Like
our Untapped project.
Back in Copy Wars, the early noughties, people were going, well, what are you going to do when all the music is stolen and nobody's making any new music? Well, I said I'm going to get my guitar. I'm going to make some.
Yeah, but I mean, they said the same thing. They said the same thing when the versatile
home taping
disc came out. The home taping came out. The what was it, Super 8 or whatever it was? 8-track when they came out.
Hang on though.
Yeah.
The thing is, whether it's music or literature or what have you, each of these industries has faced varied hurdles that they've needed to learn to adapt to, and either you sit there and you try to crush the throat of people out there that are the potential new creators, or you let them do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before all this,
there was a Dead Kennedys album. I can't remember what it was, but it said, "Home taping is killing music. We've left the B-side blank so you can help."
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, for me I think the problem was for me as a musician was that now the people that download music, they think that they steal from the companies. I think that is the problem, because I have questions that when I record music, they have told me that a 5-minute song have to take 5 minutes. You have recorded this 5-minute song, so it takes 5 minutes to record it. No,
it takes 5 minutes to record.
That's the thing. And also they think that they screw the companies, but they don't.
They're screwing the artists, yeah.
Well,
that's the problem, because the artists have always got, say, if when there was LPs and CDs, there was like the artists got say 1 crown or in Swedish money. I don't know dollar, but they got, if the dollar in Swedish money, if the CD cost 100 Swedish crowns, the artist got 1.
Yeah.
The rest of it was for the company, and then they was like, okay, we download it, so we didn't even get 1.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
the thing
is that with today's age, I mean, the internet and the home computer is basically the same as the RoboPrint, the home 3D printer. It makes all of that management middleman, everybody shaking their hand, everybody's hand behind everybody's back, out of the picture. You're a one-man store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got complete control over your product these days.
Yep.
Yeah, but no one wants to buy it.
New funding models like
wait a minute, because everybody think if they screw the companies, they don't want to buy it because they don't understand that the artist will not get the money.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second. Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying, like, under that old model that you're talking about, the artists would have got a minuscule amount of money anyway, but there were new models for artist funding, like, say, Patreon. I'm a big fan of Patreon. I support a number of people through Patreon.
Good.
And I think that's very much the way forward in terms of content creation.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I mean, I've actually said that in the past.
Well, you go through.
I think it would be a good idea.
When you're going through
we missed a couple of years.
When you're going through like things like Patreon, and you look at one of these podcasts on here, like say Drunken Peasants, for example, and I see how much they're pulling in, I think, holy crap! I mean, that absolutely amazes me. And these are guys that, if they were just making videos and monetizing, they wouldn't be getting crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Drunken Peasants is a very cheap production.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Yeah, like really, how much does a bunch of bananas really cost?
Yeah, but then you look at like Matt Dillahunty, who like gets like $2 or $3 grand per video.
Yeah.
And I think that's totally worth it. Even though I don't support Matt Dillahunty, I don't think he needs it. And I tend to focus on places where I can make more of a difference.
Yeah.
And if those places become really successful, then I will actually move on to smaller places.
Yeah. Yeah.
The advantage of models like that is that it gives the consumer
power,
the ability to focus their spend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old, and it's interesting because it's the same thing, though in one way reverse, of the old days of Galileo and all that. But they had to sell themselves to the rich folk. You don't have to sell yourselves to the rich folk anymore. You just there and say, "Hey, people, the world is in front of me." You decide.
Well, it's basically the same. Basically the same.
That is not true. That is not true, because if you're going to make some people make it because they are blah blah blah, but most of them that are in the higher scales of the YouTube and so on, they are founded by companies and so on.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be, the single, pouching for the pennies, and then there's always the big money who's always going to be there. I mean, look at anything, every new technology.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. We have a better chance now.
But the thing is, yes, you have a much better chance now because the world is at your feet. Rich, poor, in the middle of bloody Africa, where there's not a 2-level building at all. They're on satellite and doing the internet.
Yeah. Listening
to your music just like somebody in Europe.
The thing is here that I'm bitter because I'm the great musician and nobody. Sorry.
No, I gotta hit the bed, you guys.
Take care.
I have to be up early for work, so.
Have sweet dreams.
Oh, thank you. Good night, everyone. Have fun. Have lots of coffee for me.
Always.
Sorry about the dream talk, though, and for your wedding, wonderful wedding.
Thank you. I think you're talking to us, but she says she's getting married, right?
Yeah, I talked.
Okay, okay.
In this case, I talked to you both, actually.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, just closing thought on that last topic. I just wish most of my fans had more than a couple of sticks to rub together.
Yeah.
Well,
our friends are poor.
I could make a joke about some of my supporters in that regard, but that's the thing. Okay. Do you mind if I, so to speak, call it the two patrons that are in the room for the moment?
Go for
it. No problem.
Okay. Andy is one of my patrons, as is Paranor. Andy is currently contributing a bit more than Para, but Para is contributing what he can afford. It doesn't matter how much it is. What matters is somebody saying, I like your content enough that I think it has merit. It's worth something. And that's all that ultimately matters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That I agree.
That's what I love about that's what I love about the radio show that I do. Is all of the positive feedback that you're getting from the chat room, people that are actually listening to you do your thing.
Yeah.
And to bring in a carpenter's tale to Patreon, it doesn't matter if it's a 16th out or an 8th out. Enough of them, you're out 2 inches at the end.
Yeah.
So reverse that, and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, I got a mail from Russia, not this day, but from some year ago. I got a mail from Russia that someone told me that this song was fantastic, and it was like a person in Andrew in Russia liked my song. It was like, yeah, I just
Isn't that a rush? That's a real rush.
Yeah, it is.
Now, the thing is, we think about things like word of mouth not being a big deal. We think, oh, well, gee whiz. I mean, you know, you'll put up something, you put so much effort into this and that, and you get however many hits or whatever on the internet, or you barely get noticed or whatever. And we think, well, word of mouth, but that is what the internet's about ultimately. And it's a matter of bringing product, so to speak, that's worth watching, worth reading, worth listening to.
Yeah, and you'll find that you're getting linked and hooked into various people's sphere of vision in the most unlikely ways. I mean, I don't know who made it, but we watched a video this morning. It was a parody of "We Are the World," with all these YouTubers being attributed to the various things. Yeah, with parody, satire, voiceovers for the song, and we got a mention in there, and it was like, well, I don't even what I didn't even know they knew I existed. What?
Yeah. Wonderful. It was also my thing with a guy called Edward Tart, or a piano player on the internet, and he was like, I found one of his songs and I did a voiceover on an old song from the 30s or something. And because of that, I get a great connection. So now I have a pianist from Kentucky, I think he is, that play wonderful old songs for me and for all others, of course. But I wouldn't have done that because if it wasn't for the net and so on. So I have a 75-year-old guy from Kentucky that play piano and we do things together. It's like
cool.
This is so cool.
Well,
love the guy. Edward is the best.
To throw something else out there, there's a guy that I know that's up. Well, I know him mostly indirectly. He lives up in Colorado, and he does astrophotography. He takes pictures of stars and this and that. And back in the 80s, he was involved with a very small game company called TMI, I think it was. And they made this small game called Anacreon. It was a space strategy game, one of these old ASCII-based games. Fairly primitive in terms of the basic interface, but a really good game. And it was really fun and infinitely replayable, and it was a great strategy game. Well, years later, I took this, and I took the final copy that I had of it, because I actually did have a proper copy of it that was, fully enabled. Wasn't the crippleware version, as well as a copy that I'd made of the documentation of it, which I circulated both of these through some obscure little web page. I was part of a Baldur's Gate modding community at the time. Well, during this time period, somebody contacted me and said, "Yeah, I got a question for you. I understand that I see that you have this up there and blah 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 blah. I've actually managed to track down the writer of this software, and I was wondering if you still have the old documentation that went with these on how to make the varied scenarios." And I said, "Yeah, sure." So this guy did some other stuff, contacted this guy George Moramasoto, and next thing you know, George is making a new version of a new release of it. Years and years later, then starts going on to work on another game project that was this side thing he was doing just as a hobby for the heck of it, and now that's starting to gain traction and actually won an award for an independent game. It's like NetHack in space. It's called Transcendence. Really nice little game that he's come out with now, and he's revitalized some of the stuff with the Anacreon thing and what have you. And it's going really well, and he's doing his own little thing with it, and I think that's really, really cool. And all of this is just shot in the dark. Some old fans of the old game contacting him and saying, "We'd really love it if you'd release the source code or something so we can do some more with it." So now he has a graphical version out. There's also a 2.0 release, which was done by somebody else with his own old source code and all this other stuff because somebody took a chance on it. I mean, it's really cool what the net can inspire and what the net can do.
Yeah.
Amazing, the butterfly thing.
Yeah, and incidentally, well, talking with him, I found out that the scenario that I wrote for it years prior was the one he used to torture test his new editions of it, because I made the most comprehensive and elaborate scenario that anyone had ever written for it.
Oh, speaking of which, how's your book coming, Shadow?
Rose is feeling better. Hopefully we'll be back to the editing soon. Hopefully. We still have, what is it, 12 chapters left? 8 chapters? I don't know.
12 you mentioned the other day.
We are roughly 2/3 of the way through the edit. We just need to finish it up. And around the time of the stroke, she fell sick, and she's starting to feel better, but you don't want to be editing something when your head's not in it.
No.
Because you start making mistakes. But as soon as that's out, people will know. Mentioned earlier, I'm going to be doing an experiment through the channel, which I'm going to try and get some viewer participation involved with to some degree, in which I'm going to be telling them something completely different, something that's outside of my usual comfort zone, which is going to be a crime thriller. And that's something I haven't even attempted before, so what the hell? It's just a matter of getting my head in it. And part of it's getting over the self-consciousness of just sitting there in a hangout talking to myself. But
But no, I actually really enjoyed the chapter that you put out on YouTube.
And I'm going to be doing a reread of those now that they've been properly edited, and I'm going to be putting a few more of those up. Yeah, I'm broadcasting. Yeah, I'm live. Good night. Time for wifey to go to bed. Important business.
Nighty night.
He actually thought she was sneaking off, apparently.
Actually, Heathens, to go back to the question about the MP3s, I have a question. Back in the day when it was all records and cassettes, you always had a few songs on there you liked, and the rest of them you didn't like. With MP3s now, when you download a song, you can download an individual song. Does it force the artist to produce better quality work and not able to stick in second and third-rate material as filler?
And that's the thing, is a lot of time with those older albums, they needed a minimum run length, so sometimes they'd be throwing in stuff that I think really didn't have the spit polish on it.
Yeah.
But that's more of the production, not the artistry, I think. I mean, really, the production value would have pushed them to produce lower quality.
Well, it's more so that the labels were making certain requirements of them, and you know, you have that idea for those 3-4 really good songs that might potentially be hits, and then they say, well, you need this minimum run length, so then you just have to fill it with something.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, with the thing with vinyl is you've got a certain amount of plastic to cover.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're doing an album or an EP. A single, not so much. You've got an A side and a B side, and Yeah, sometimes you might just put the same thing, but without the vocal on the B-side. Yeah. But with an album, you've got a lot of real estate to cover. So, yeah, when you go in there, the studio is expecting you to have enough material to cover that real estate.
Now, when they went to tapes, this wasn't really as necessary. But at the same point, they still held onto those traditions. And this is the thing, is within all these industries, whether it be literature or music or what have you, they have these certain conventions, and they're really sticklers for it. When I initially was submitting to publishing companies, I had to use I couldn't use things like Times New Roman. I couldn't use Arial. It had to be Courier New because it looked like that old type font.
Yeah.
And this was just for submission. And you couldn't have anything in boldface. You could have anything italic. No. You had to use the old convention of writing the little B in front of it to denote it as bold, and you had to write that in throughout the entire thing. You had to underline anything that was italics. You had to stick with these conventions, even though we had computers, because a lot of them were refusing to switch over to electronic submission. You still had to mail it. It still had to be the full frickin' menu. So you're mailing something this frickin' big through the mail because it has to be double spaced and yada yada yada. All the old conventions were still intact. And if you didn't know any one of these conventions, your manuscript would get kicked out for not knowing their little nitpicks.
Yeah. Because the competition is so high.
Yeah, and one of the other things to remember about the music industry is that promoters and corporate investors, labels, thank you, they're also going to be looking for live show potential, because the best way to promote an album is to put on a show, to actually entertain people. So again, show requirements, you got to have a certain length, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, they're not just looking for good studio fodder, they're looking for good live fodder as well.
Personality, we'll do it live.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do it live.
And then there's the factor that your first album's always the best, because you get 20 years to write it, and then you get a year to write the second one.
Yeah. Billy Joel did a good song about that. Entertainer, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But my first album is always the first album.
Well, my first book I spent 10 freaking years on, and I was initially planning on doing a full rewrite of it even then, because nothing's ever nothing's ever perfect. For that matter, I was considering rewriting the end of it completely, but no, it's been done for 8 fucking years.
Yeah, that's why I keep writing music, because I'm not satisfied with what I've done so far.
And there's a point at which you need to sit there and let your child out of the nest, because in a lot of ways, whether it be on a cerebral level or what have you, you're basically giving birth to these works.
Yeah.
You are.
You can be your own worst critic,
Yeah. Hey, kids.
You always are.
And for me, it's like my first album was I actually tried to write a musical. The first album I was. That might be my bipolar.
That's very ambitious.
I was like,
and one day I'll write my symphony.
Yeah. Coming.
It was
okay,
like,
who's got the fire going on?
Yeah, that's us.
Sorry.
We'll mute.
Burning down the house. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Have you heard the train song?
Flag me for saying that.
Yeah, it's actually the other side of the valley.
It's echoing off of Pikes Peak.
Actually, let me double check to make sure that I'm not in danger of starting to echo, because with this mic it happens.
Yeah, it might be me. I'm going to find my headset.
No, it's very, yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of sirens out there.
Yeah, it can't possibly be forest fires. It's been too wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Probably a Texas.
Could be a meth lab.
It's probably a meth lab, yeah.
Texas has been a freaking marsh lately.
I'm guessing what it is actually it's like a big hole opened up in the earth and swallowed some cars.
I would imagine that's
how
probably
much it's
more
been
likely.
raining. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw an accident the other day.
Yeah.
Armageddon is going to get you. Sorry.
I remember that.
It's
Well,
the
you talk
end
about
of
Texas
the
being-
world as we know it.
You talk about Texas being a swamp. Colorado is it's sort of like a huge mudslide at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Seriously, Colorado is fucking utopia now, isn't it?
I had like about not even 5 nice days.
Yeah, all
this
but geologically and weatherologically. What's that? Meteorologically.
I thought every day was a nice day in Colorado now.
It depends on how much smoke.
Yeah.
No, we have nice spots during the day.
Puff pass.
It would be no exaggeration to say that most days we have bright sunshine, heavy rain, an occasional hail, or in April, May, snow.
Bullshit! You look at each other and every day is a fantastic day.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can see sunlight bouncing off your cabinet there, Ping, so there you go. You never have winter.
Oh, Brian, no, that's the sunlight reflecting off the snow beaming into the window.
If it's not raining here, the glare is so amazing. It's like,
Well, I will tell you what the average temperature has been this week in Nova Scotia. 82 degrees.
ooh, you got us beat by a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we're
they
gonna
say
be
we're
we're
ice.
gonna be in the 90s this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, I have had sun all the day. I know Sweden is fantastic.
We're actually the rain finally did stop here in Texas.
Good.
It's starting to get burny out.
Has it been raining a lot there too?
It had been for quite some time, but now it's just starting to get burny out.
Yeah.
You don't
Just in
understand
time
what
for July.
burning means. You've never been to Texas or Arizona, apparently, but it's this point at which you go outside and it feels like the sun is trying to crisp you.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like the sun is warming me. It's like you're under a heat lamp. It's just.
I was just about to say it's kind of like walking next to a barbecue, perpetually next to a barbecue.
All of that goes away if you have access to a pool, though.
It does.
That's the thing.
It does.
Well, this is part of why up in New England, my old stomping grounds is so much nicer, is because you're on the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
The ocean keeps it a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
It does indeed.
It's been warm in New York the last few days.
Yep. The whole eastern seaboard, really. Or Atlantic, I should say.
Average 60.
No, that's not average.
That's the daily average. For
That's
tomorrow.
what it is right now.
Sounds like my first trip to Asia or Bangkok when I went out of the plane and it was 36 degrees Celsius. It was like, I want to go into the plane again. I can't believe I can't be here. So I ran back to the plane and said, no, I don't want to be here. And then they pushed me out again and it was like, I'm going to die here. It's like, no, I'm going to die.
Come on, that's only...
A vacation and I die on my vacation. I was like, no, that was my first really trip to a warm country, and I thought, okay, I die.
100 Fahrenheit.
My first year in Texas, I spent almost that entire year saying, eventually I will climatize to this heat. No, you don't.
Nope.
You just, I had never.
That's what I say about the cold in Sweden, and no, we don't.
prior to that year, I'd never been in a situation when driving down the road with the windows down, I was getting a friction burn from the air going into the car.
Yeah.
Ouch! It was hot. I mean, I was literally getting a friction burn. It wasn't a sunburn. I got a friction burn from the damn heat of the wind.
Yeah.
It's like opening up a blast furnace. When I moved down there, my car, because I was coming from the Northeast, didn't have AC, so I just had the windows down. Yeah, I got a new car.
The opposite of that. I was sleeping in a tent with 36 degrees Celsius on the minus side in a tent on the northern part of Sweden. That was like, you shouldn't sleep in tents now.
No.
It was like, I was out of the door of the tent and I got some things in my beard, and so it was
frost.
I mean, like icicles.
Icicles.
Yeah, frost and icicles. It was like, are you kidding me? Are you going to sleep here? Are you mad?
Yeah, that's literally your breath condensing on your facial hair, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, what? I'm going to sleep and live in this for a couple of weeks.
Good luck.
And I did with a couple with rugs with a thing on my back, and I was like, oh, I'm freezing.
Yeah, I can remember sleeping under a boat in February in Brighton when it was snow on the ground.
And they say that Swedish military has nothing to. We are tough as hell.
Brian, that sounds like after a good evening.
I know, right?
Oftentimes it was.
Sleep under a boat.
Yeah, oftentimes it was. But yeah.
Snow on the ground in Brighton, man. You just sleep under the pier, you'll be fine.
There is much better shelter under a boat. Unfortunately, the boats aren't there anymore. They've moved the fishing fleets.
Yeah, probably to Hastings, right?
Yeah, I think it could be Hastings or Shoreham. They probably most of them operate out of Shoreham nowadays.
I've slept under a couple of things, but not a boat. I was on a trip on a third-class train, and I slept under the seats. And I woke up and I looked at my eyes up, and then there was cockroaches running around, and I was like, okay, now I close my mouth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or take another class than the third class. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, sorry, bugs just came to mind. There was about a year that I lived out in Far East Texas, fairly close to Louisiana, and they had bugs of the massive variety out there. The first time I've ever seen a stick bug, first time I ever saw a real praying mantis. Now, I'd seen one up north. It was like this big, this little bitty, it was cute. No, this thing was like 6 freaking inches long. This thing was huge. One of these suckers flies into the house, and you sit there. You don't sit there and just try to chase it out with the broom. You prepare a freaking runway. It was enormous. I'm like, holy crap, what the hell? And then I knew immediately what inspired all the old classic horror movies.
It was like when I slept on a bad hotel in somewhere in Asia, and then I woke up and I felt something sitting on me, and then I smashed it away, and then it was like a explosion in the wall. It wasn't like a buff in the wall. It was like pow in the wall, and then it was like, this is not a cockroach. This is a dinosaur. on my face, it's like, no, I don't want to sleep here.
There's a point at which the only thing you can really do is get out the saddle.
Yeah. Whoa.
By the way, you had some good fishing earlier.
Actually, I still remember that mantis came in. I was sitting there, and the thing flies in, just lands on the wall. I'm looking at it going, holy crap, what's next, Mothra?
When I lived in Florida, the ex-wife, I was out in the living room.
No.
Oh, I was out in the living room. She was taking a shower. All of a sudden, I hear her scream. I go rushing back, and here's a scorpion.
Ooh.
Yep. Thankfully, we used body wash, so, we had to get a new bottle after that.
Yeah.
What do you mean you use body wash to kill it?
Yeah, just like Nearwood, it's an exoskeleton. They breathe through their shell. So you smother it and...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Apparently the scorpion's a smaller one. typically more dangerous, though.
Well, this was a baby too, so the venom was quite high.
Were you dumping the soap on it?
Yeah.
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 Most insects they breathe through are called spiracles. They're holes in the side of their abdomen.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah, but
it
a scorpion-
passively goes in and out. So by drenching it in something like soap, it clogs that up and it doesn't allow air to go in. Or
Yeah,
out.
but technically a scorpion isn't an insect.
Yep.
It's an arachnid.
It's
Yeah.
an arachnid, yes.
It's an arachnid.
Same concept. What happens then is it just doesn't breathe anymore.
Sorry, but if I see a scorpion, I take a hammer or whatever and knock it in the head.
Well,
It's
he was what was
same concept. It
Yeah.
just violates Occam's Razor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
try not to do that on the wall, though.
Heel of a shoe always works, and it's usually to hand.
Incidentally,
okay, hammer.
just right quick for the sake of those that are watching. Yeah, we had to unfortunately switch to the standard Google Hangout because for some reason Google was screwing up with the XSplit feed again. After I'd gotten it squared away, gotten it working again, it decided to screw up tonight. And I understand other people have been having problems, so I'm hoping that it isn't that I have to screw in with XSplit again. I think it might be Google side. We'll try again tomorrow, probably.
Yeah,
even
XSplit's
took
a bit
down
of a
the damn-
dust, man.
I even took down the damn Minecraft server to make sure that that wasn't causing issues, but I'm going to pop that back up now just in case any of the people that are part of that want to get back on. But,
What
anyway.
happened to your 24-hour continuous hangout plan?
unreliability of Google.
Google,
Yeah,
probably.
because we did the like 11-hour hangout, right?
Yeah,
and that worked.
And I'm still thinking about it. The thing is that right now Google's being squirrely, and I've been thinking about starting it up, but then I got sidetracked, and part of that was the recovery thing because I was doing Minecraft in part for recovery. And let me tell you, playing Minecraft is boring as fuck if you're not running a server and interacting with other people. So I started running a server and interacting with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, on the topic of Google problems, I think I know what's going on. They announced that at the end of the week, Google or YouTube Games, live streaming games, Google's answer to Twitch is being integrated, and it's going to be just like Hangouts.
In other words, they're jacking with the live interface. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I just realized that.
So then nothing gonna work for a couple of months, and then it don't work again.
Well, if they get it working right, I might try the 24-hour game deal.
I got a question. Why does nobody ever use that YouTube Live thing they used to have?
We are.
We were. Actually.
No,
What's YouTube?
where a YouTube user on YouTube would do a live broadcast through that, not a Google Hangout.
No, that
we are.
no, YouTube Live. You stream through a third-party software.
Oh, okay.
You stream
Yeah,
through third-party
you'll
like I was
find-
trying to do with the XSplit.
Yeah, and you'll find that there are some people that do use it. I have several in my feed on a regular basis.
And I typically try to do the XSplit thing when it's freaking functional, but yeah.
Okay. Maybe just of all the people I have on YouTube, I never see anybody use that function ever.
Nope.
It's always a Hangout.
Yeah.
If it's linked through YouTube, it's using that. See, what happens, Hangouts stream
yeah.
from YouTube. That's the only difference between the private and the non-private, is it sends it to bloody YouTube. That's it.
Yeah.
So G Plus is the streaming agent for YouTube.
I
Yeah.
remember
YouTube
that
Live.
feature now,
It
though.
is.
That was there years ago. We had
And
that.
when the streaming is completely fucked up like it is tonight, then the only way to stream is through a damn Hangout.
Yep. Which
Is
means no
that
chat.
why? Is that why like the Magic Sandwich Show went to like Warm TV?
Yeah.
Which sucks horribly.
Because of the unreliability of YouTube. That and, frankly, DPR Jones is not very technically savvy, we'll say.
Yeah, he knows how to do
there's
blog
been
TV. Vaughn TV is similar to blog TV, so he manages to get that to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's been a number of calls, Shadow, for you to go in and sort him out.
It says comments have been disabled for this video.
Right.
No.
What video?
This one.
No.
This? No, there haven't.
No. There's comments all over the place.
No, you're probably looking at one of the older links. I had to share it 3 different fucking times because I had to restart it 3 fucking times.
I'm using a tablet. It says on your power, the thing we're talking on now.
Right. Actually, the title of this one is "Fuck It, We'll Do It Live."
Oh, okay.
I had to shut down the other 2 because I failed the first time. I thought it was because I tried starting it at 1080. No better. Tried to get it 720. It was still fucking up, so I said, "Screw it, we'll do it live."
Okay, gotcha.
I've heard that somewhere before.
That actually is the Bill O'Reilly quote.
Yeah.
We know the one.
It's the same thing. No
That's
comment.
the Bill O'Reilly battle cry.
Comments have been disabled.
Bill O'Reilly meme machine.
Yeah.
Tide goes in, tide goes out. How's the sandwich get made?
No, stop now.
I still cannot believe.
Yeah,
someone
I'm
actually
pretty sure.
said
I'm pretty
that.
sure he was talking about a ham sandwich when he said that.
It was like.
Well, if you've ever heard David Silverman discuss that interview, he said, they were having a very reasoned, rational, intellectual talk in the green room. Then he goes out and stage version of Mr. O'Reilly is on and comes out of the mouth.
Well, in terms of stupid talking heads and talking points, there's this ad that I kept seeing almost all fucking day yesterday on Google, which just had me just completely confused. Because the ad it's about some fucking trade agreement that they're trying to get through. And what it says is, if we aren't leading in, international distribution, then China is, and blah, 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 blah. The liberals and the labor unions don't want America to be strong. I'm like, what?
Yeah, the TPP, I think.
What? What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, the liberals don't want us to be economically strong. Right. The labor unions don't. What the fuck are you talking about?
Fear-mongering.
Us conservatives need to vote on this. I'm like, okay, so gullible people that won't actually look to see what it's actually about need to vote for it. Okay.
That's just FUD.
Can someone tell me why Fox is a big channel in the US?
Oh, there we go. Kevin and Jack here finally.
No, but for me, it's like if I have 2 channels to choose from, and the other one was like bad ghost shows and some media thing that talked about I can channel in ghosts, I see them, and Fox. I would choose the ghost channel.
Yeah. Finding Bigfoot. Bullshit, you are.
I would believe them, not Fox. Sorry.
Okay. That was a pose.
Yeah.
Kevin is wearing a Jackie hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wearing a Jackie hat. It looks
I
awesome.
unboxed them for a moment to show his new hat.
A Jackie hat.
Right.
Oh, Jackie. Hello. I love the hat. I like Kevin too, but I love the hat more.
Oh my god, you're so cute.
Pink fuzzy.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you're so cute.
Oh crap, it's all going to go to puppies now, isn't it?
Now it's all about the boobs.
For anyone who doesn't know, she's here for good.
Yeah.
Oh!
Which means that she's graduated.
We're not in a long distance relationship anymore.
I have to say, Kevin is wonderful, but Jackie the hat is great.
It also means congratulations for Jackie because she graduated.
Yep. But
yeah, congratulations.
When she first got down here, they reminded us all of the perils of potential punctuation. That he posted a message saying, "What? Do you want to take this one, Headless?"
Yeah, let me go find it. Keep talking.
A message was posted saying, "Our long-distance relationship has come to an end."
Yes.
And there was no nice little punctuation to let us know. Keep reading.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you get to the natural pause, and it's like, oh my gosh, what happened? Oh, she's moving.
That was the point. I was being a fuck.
Oh,
Here it is.
Incognito, I said our line.
What Kevin wrote was, the long-distance relationship between Jackie and I finally came to an end today.
I really did get upset when I read that. By the way, you did get.
Yeah, I got it straight away.
Not me.
Now, if you read what he really wrote, if I can find that.
It's right after that.
What he really wrote was, so the long-distance relationship between Jackie and I finally came to an end today. I just picked her up at the airport so she doesn't have to return flight this time.
Yeah.
But there's no comma, there's no period.
For fuck's sake, man.
The wonderful thing here is that the Swedish guy actually understood it.
So did the red coat.
Yeah, but I always purposely quote mine things like that.
But Pinge, that's because you speak English.
Swinglish.
Just for the record, Pinge never knew about the Swedish chef. When we showed it to him, he commented it sounds more like Norwegian.
Probably did.
To a Swede, it probably does.
So tonight we're blaming the Norwegians, not the French. I got that. Okay.
Well, you have to always blame the French.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Or like my friend always used to say.
No, you don't blame the French, you blame it on the Belgians.
Nah, France.
No.
Blame Canada.
No,
blame the Belgians. They speak French too.
This wasn't it in Douglas Adams' book.
Belgium is a swear word all in itself.
Yeah, the most offensive swear word in the
Ever.
galaxy is Belgium.
Yes, only spouted by ne'er-do-wells such as Ford Prefect.
But my friend, that's name is Johan, say that you should always blame Johan. That is my name, Johan.
Yeah. And if anyone's looking for a derogatory term for Belgians, it would translate from the French as fried potato eater.
Oh, that's reminds me. I'm sorry, I've got to actually have a brief gaming-related comment. Chicken, how's the work going on the Lenatar Memorial Potato Farm doing in the game?
We did some preliminary scoping around. We found a couple of sites that are perfect.
Okay.
Lenatar Memorial.
We're building on our team's Minecraft server. We're building the Owen Lenahan Memorial Potato.
But wait.
Why?
Well, I'll explain. You see, Lenny plays Minecraft, and we invited him to join a server. But since he plays on an Xbox,
he can't
play on the other servers.
Okay. It's the word potato, so
we're building him a memorial potato field.
Okay.
Yeah, but now like, Lenator's completely gone, right?
Racist.
No, he still exists. He's just been mostly out of the...
Yeah, like Lenny's going to complain about us being racist towards him.
But no, the really sad thing is, like, when you make an account on Google Plus, yeah, it makes you a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it
and
does.
I've never made any fucking videos at all. And I've got one fucking subscriber, and it's Lenator. Like, and now it's gone. So, like, my one subscriber is gone.
Okay, now Headless is...
Headless,
you've never made a video. How many subs do you have?
My top number was 11. I currently have 7.
Ah, some of them left.
Not one of those. Not one of those is a sock. They're all legitimate subs. I never solicited anybody to sub to me.
I have like 40 subs.
So I have like
I will say this. I will say this. At one time, the Phantom Lion was subbed to me.
No.
Dun, dun, dun.
Only because he thought he could rip you off for like.
I am probably one of your subscribers, I think.
I think they did, yeah.
I thought I saw a headless chicken, and then that's him, and then I subscribed.
But no, I still remember getting this like Google social email going like Lenator has subscribed to your channel, and I sent him a PM going, why?
Yeah.
And thus ended his YouTube career when he realized, damn it.
I have like 200 something subscribers. I probably should make a video this weekend. What do people want to see?
That's an drama.
Wait, you're asking the internet for suggestions.
Yeah.
Don't do that, Jackie.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
Yeah, you didn't think that through very well. Huh?
Internet for suggestions. I'm asking my friends for suggestions.
Oh.
Your friends on the internet. That's the internet.
Sorry.
And we are live.
Actually, the sad thing, Prudent now has about as many subs as I do on this channel.
Yeah, but no, the way Prudent gets subs is he gets big name guests to go on his show, and then the guests do all the talking.
Ah, okay.
That's why I don't get any sub. I have to do it that way.
I have a couple. I have a couple big name YouTubers subscribe to me, which is why I feel like I need to put out something this weekend.
We'll talk about it later.
Alright.
Well, you should never feel pressured to put on videos.
Make more videos, Chaku. No, I don't.
No, make a video now.
I always feel pressured to do videos.
And then I
shit about my fan.
Yeah, well, you have annoying fanboys.
And then I am talking that to making a video once a year or something.
You know that? No, hey, I see Nodvix online.
No, I'm moving my thing to do things is that I'm moving my videos from another channel to the next channel, and then people think that I make a video. That's my goal. Kevin, I was not that boring.
No, I'm tired and a little drunk. We just got back from a party.
Yeah, we're both a little drunk.
Or, Kevin, you are right, I was not boring.
No.
No.
Let's not start the boop thing again. We covered that yesterday.
There's nothing wrong with poop.
No, boop.
Oh, right. Oh, shit. Forget I said anything.
It's what Alanis Morissette answered as to the answered the question in Dogma. That was her reply. Boop.
I like Alanis Morissette.
Oh, there it is.
It's always my reply. Boop. Whatever you say. Boop. What? There's my report.
When Alanis Morissette was younger, she was on a children's TV show called You Can't Do That on Television.
Really? Oh my god.
Where if you said the word slime or I don't know, they dumped slime on you.
Oh, okay.
That one.
Yeah.
I actually have seen that one, and that's saying nothing about me. I hope.
She used to do a lot of bubblegum music.
Yeah.
Bubblegum music. It's remixes of bubblegum music.
A lot of poppin' bubbles.
She is smarter than me. I don't do bubblegum.
Jackie. Jackie, talk over you. You're like humming over everyone.
Oh, sorry. I'm a little drunk. I'm sorry.
Oh. Is the bed made?
Most of us are.
None of your business.
But if anyone
Oh dear, oh dear.
sing over everyone. That is true, so I'm okay.
I don't drink, but I have a different intoxicating agent.
Yeah, we need to get our hands on some of that. I'm getting bored with alcohol.
In my case, I'm stupid all the time, so it's okay. The only difference when I drink that is that no one in English understands how stupid I am because I cannot speak.
I am always stupid on the things I don't know.
Okay, Mount Shinneberg volcano went off.
Well, I actually remember when I started going hangouts, they said that it was fun to have Pinch in the beginning of the video, but not in the end, because then he was a drunk, so no one understood what he said. So then they just nod and say, yeah, Pinch is okay, he's nice, he's friendly, but we don't understand what he's saying.
Yeah. We can understand you. Almost all the time.
Speaking of not understanding jack shit, what happened to this like Skylar Arcane thing that was supposed to be happening tonight that turned into some giant non-event?
Those kind of events go tits up more often than you might think.
I popped in for a couple minutes. It was like, what are you guys talking about? It didn't become clear, so I left.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Jason Burns debate challenge. He challenges you. You have no idea he did. He declaims the winner.
I won.
Kevin Bomber Harris fights Kevin Bomber Harris. Yes.
Yeah, just another episode in the debate.
Debate.
Yeah, the thing about the debate is I was thinking if we all did it together, right, it would be like a mass debate.
It's full of master debaters, that's for sure.
Yeah. We're like mass debaters.
Ryan and next, did you see Sci-Ten's video, We Are the World?
Yeah, that was
Sci-Ten.
Yeah, and if you check like the channel that it's on, I think it's called Fanny Pong. There's some other really fucked up shit on that channel.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah,
so this is obviously a Sci-Ten backup channel.
It's an alt channel of his that actually goes back a few years, where basically he takes completely good music videos and completely fucks them up, and it's really like dubs over all the audio. It's in the same vein as the We Are the World video, but it's really funny.
It is.
I might have to watch that now. I saw it in my feed a couple times.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Have you watched the this Musicless videos series?
What's
Musicless music video series where they do Foley. They do a bunch of Foley and overdubs on a whole bunch of videos, and some of them are quite hilarious because it just. Well, anyway, I'll just leave you to root them up sometime.
I think I've seen that. Oh, I've got that in my subscriptions, that channel. I gotta find it.
Tonight on the Insomnia Shuffle, we'll be directing you to other channels worth watching.
Yes.
Only if you want migraines.
Yeah. It depends on the channel.
JT will know what it is. He has a memory.
Oh, by the way, Shadow, the Blacklist, I was watching a bit more of it earlier, and I'm more certain now that I've got him figured out.
It's pretty freaking close, isn't it? Even from that first impression.
And you're still saying there's a flip.
Okay, from your initial premise, yeah, there's a little bit of a flip, but not too significant. The connection between the father and what's his name? I can't remember the name of the character. Isn't exactly the one that you would initially anticipate. It's slightly different.
Yeah, be careful there. I watched the first series. I haven't got around to the second one yet. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm only.
I'm not giving
chill
spoilers.
out on the spoilers.
I'm not giving out spoilers on that one.
Yeah, I'm trying not to as well.
That and you don't know what he said to me was his first impression of what his prediction was going to be. So
yeah, and I've changed that slightly, but I'd have to update you, but not now. But I'm at episode 7. That's one I just watched, and there's 22 episodes. So
yep. Yeah, it's actually a little bit surprising to me. You think these big networks with all the money and this kind of stuff, and then you start having like things made just for Netflix and this kind of stuff. And my first impression was these were going to all be shit, but I was really pleasantly surprised by a number of things they put out.
What's a bit surprising is you keep thinking like fat bald motherfucker from Sex Lies and Videotape. How does this compute?
What a great movie that was. I've always been a fan of James. Right, even his first movie, it was in the 80s. Oh, what was the name of that? He came back to town. He was the outcast kid. His twin brother died, something like that.
Good depiction.
Yeah, he was always like not quite Brat Pack, right?
Yeah.
Vader.
Yeah, and Boston Legal, he was brilliant in.
Yeah, I never watched that. I heard an ugly rumor that William Shatner was in it or something.
And you know what? It fit him. He did it beautifully. Yeah. I really suggest checking it out. First couple episodes at the minimum. Should be the first episode, but just give it a peek.
Well, I'm actually, I just checked the comment section and I'm a little bit disappointed. My thumb down troll has not shown up yet.
Oh.
Oh, I heard you mention that last night.
Yeah. I could thumb it down to make you feel better. No, that'll throw it off if he does show up.
Yeah, it doesn't count unless it's the actual thumb down troll, but you know.
Well, I mean, not last night.
If I didn't say anything, you would totally think it was.
Yeah, I watched the video tonight. I'm not up. Usually during the week, I'm not up when y'all are having
this. Yeah, because you've already been hanging out in like Xboxes and called it a night.
Well, I'm on the East Coast, so it's like almost 2 o'clock now.
Oh. Yeah. That it is.
You guys are lucky. I'm at 3.
3.
Yeah. Atlanta time.
You are lucky. I'm at 7:50.
Johan is the winner.
And I am stupid. I know.
Yeah, for you it's tomorrow. It's a totally different day.
Tomorrow.
But I was on the party tonight with my and so on, and then I saw, hang out, I'm in.
We don't get to have you that often.
Hold on, we have to do something.
I have tried to be in a hangout for I don't know how many months, and I was like, I was in the Skype and I look hangout. No, they are lost. I pushed the link and I'm the only one in the hangout. Fuck! And now I'm finally here.
Yeah, it's like no one joined your call.
Nah.
I've been there.
I'm like, I will never leave this hangout. I will stick to the end.
Well, this is it. It's the 24-hour hangout now.
This is the G Plus. I might say fucking do that. It does mean stopping with regular content though. That would be the thing, is I would have to stop doing standard regular content if I were to do that. Because
wouldn't you just do it and then lie there and fart into garbage like?
Well, yeah, I'd have to basically sit there and work on my video editing live during the hangout.
Yeah.
You can make the 24 hours and then you do something else and then if something happens, you go.
I record.
Hello, I am the host of this.
No, most of the stuff that I do in terms of video editing requires the same software. It's also my green software that I do the streaming through.
Okay, I'm a musician. I know. I need a new computer. I know.
I need
always the same. Yeah.
Secondary system, and yeah.
Yeah, you also need a new computer. It's like, and if you get a new computer, then nothing works, and it's like.
I don't have that problem. I'm a tech, or used to be for years.
Yeah.
I have that problem. I have a piano. That's wonderful. I have a piano, the best piano I ever had, and that piano is a software piano, and they screw up everything in my computer. But when I render things and so on, it's the most beautiful piano I've ever had. It's like, fuck, I hate this software, and I love it.
Yeah, well, like that, play us something on your fucking piano, right?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's a piano, man.
I cannot record my piano. That's the problem. The software
Nobody's
piano
asking you to record it, just play it.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, Shadow will record it, you play it.
Yeah,
it's being recorded.
That's the person that I hate. It's like the person that, let's say, the music is 5 minutes long, so why don't you record it in 5 minutes?
That's just silly.
Yeah, I didn't say record it, man. I said play
Ah, sorry, I was kidding. No worries, I was kidding.
I think we have gone off track again, but that's okay.
All right, let's just get everybody back on track. Just 1 second, guys.
Wait, where
Xbox
were
off.
the original track?
Oh, are we? Okay. All right.
What
Seriously, I'll play some shit on this guy. Play your piano.
Topic or something?
What are you talking about?
Oh, wait.
Somebody playing katana.
That's a badass.
Hang on a second. Andy, you're showing guitar porn. Wait a minute. Let me box in here. Let's see now. There we go. Guitar porn.
But wait a minute, Heathen. The track was dreaming in whatever.
Oh, wait a second.
I can't see anything.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the most ill-timed iPad crash ever.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Okay, show the guitar.
Wow. That's a puppy.
Here it is.
Screw the guitar, we have a puppy.
Can't see it very
I'm
well.
sorry, it's not reviewing. But the puppy's being really cute.
Well, you're being really cute.
No, the puppy's being really cute.
I would cry if you show a guitar. My guitars are on the pawn shop.
Yeah.
I would cry if you nah.
Did everybody catch that on a scale of cuteness? It goes Jackie, then puppy.
What?
No, Jackie's cuter.
I've got to cut it.
No, puppy's cuter.
You. Hang on. I've got to cut in for a moment. Because you keep hearing, ka-shing, ka-shing. That is my phone being blown up from my daughter, who lives in McKinney, Texas, who is constantly being told by her mother how much better McKinney is than Mesquite. And as you all know, recently there was a cop there that accosted a number of black youths that were at a pool party.
Oh, is that the same
And she's blowing up my phone because she finally got a chance to watch the video.
Wow.
By the way, Andy, sweet guitar.
Yeah.
There isn't another one like it on the face of the planet.
It's really beautiful with the silhouette. That's all I could really see of it.
Handmade.
It might be better with a little bit of light.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
It's completely custom. I designed it myself.
My dad used to make and repair guitars or heavily modify his.
Nice. Let's hear it.
It's a spruce top, flame maple body, ebony fretboard. It kind of, I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna need to turn my, I need to get a plectrum from somewhere.
Does that have a metal beveling?
A beveling? No.
Around the Oh no, I see it.
On the body, this is a kind of reverse herringbone pattern going around that actually matches some others that were made by the same guy, who I am related to.
Related to?
Nice.
Actually, I'm just gonna lose my headphones.
Does that come out?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa!
Nice.
Woo! Woo!
Whammy bar.
Wicked!
Nice.
Nice.
I like it.
Oh,
Very nice.
Really awesome.
And now I'm going to get jealous. I cannot get my guitars here. Give you a fight.
the problem is with things like Google Hangout, no matter what you do, it's always going to be muffled.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Even so, it still sounds good.
You don't need to hear me wanking all night. But we've
that kind of reminds me of Bob Graves playing his guitar through Hangouts while people are talking.
Yeah.
The wanking thing is, you sounds better when you play guitar than when you wank.
Well, there's actually a video game for like PlayStation 3 and whatnot that has an actual interface that you can plug into the guitar. And I discovered that I can actually, when that's plugged in, because it's USB basically, I can actually plug that into the USB port and use it as an auxiliary microphone in Hangouts, which is kind of neat.
Cool.
Yeah, useful.
Is that Guitar Hero or something?
Rocksmith.
No. Rocksmith, like it's an actual like it has an interface for an actual electric guitar,
real guitar,
rather than a game controller.
I see. Okay.
But it's kind of like doing something like Guitar Hero, but with a real fucking guitar.
With a real guitar, which makes more sense.
Yep.
Well, that's cool, but now we need like Johan.
Guitar Hero is like no.
All the kids who played Guitar Hero went out and got real guitars.
Some of them did.
Yes, yeah, maybe.
Happened when the Beatles came around too.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that happened actually after they were mocked on South Park.
Yeah.
But now I'm going.
I think they were mocked on Pinky in the Brain before they were on South Park.
No, a Guitar Hero, Brian.
Oh.
Guitar Hero, and then the dad comes out and he tries playing it because he plays guitar, and he can't play these songs on Guitar Hero.
Oh, gotcha.
But more so he's trying to get them interested in playing real musical instruments, and they're like, oh, no, we don't want to play those. Those are for old people. No.
For old people?
They actually take work.
Yeah.
Actually, now I'm with old people. I was like, I went to music school in Sweden, and then I learned classical music, like on the guitar, like plum, 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 and it was the worst thing I ever did. And I did it anyway. I even learned to play the flute because I wanted to be a musician. And then I become a bass player and so on. And then it was all fun. Now they do it like, yeah, we do it like in the game. And no, that is not how you become a musician. You practice, 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 and no.
Yeah.
Our hero is karaoke.
It was. I spent thousands of hours practicing, and now they play these fucking games, and they get better hits than me. I hate it now.
Hey, I've been working with computers since the early days, same as Shadow, and I have problems with friggin' cell phones. Okay.
And then again, I don't give a shit about it. I think it's cool. If they can find a way to make music, blah blah blah, whatever, I love it. But
what you got going on there, Shadow?
Actually, I was about to do a finger test.
Oh. I have not seen you have your basic.
Nope.
If you show out the instruments, I will show out mine too. I show mine too. That's what's key.
By the way, and
get it out, man.
Yeah,
by the way, Andy, a tip of the hat to the skill.
Okay.
It's a sign of a misspent youth, man.
Nope, still can't reach.
Oh, dang it.
Don't have the extension enough yet.
I was waiting for Johan to go, excuse me while I whip this down.
And Andy, never be sorry for a misspent youth. You learned a shitload, man.
Good.
Stretch out those two enough yet? Damn it. No.
It'll come.
Can't see it. But, yeah.
Here we go.
Ooh.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Not getting the pressure right. Or the distance. So, not happening.
No,
It'll come.
Not yet.
But haven't tried in a week, so I thought I'd give it another shot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, keep trying. It'll come.
You gotta keep checking it.
I mean, that's the thing, is I never technically learned to play. I just, years ago, picked one up, started futzing with it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. I try to come up with different things to just do on it. Just making shit up.
Yeah.
And this was years and years ago, and the gal I was seeing at the time kept bitching me out for not playing songs on the bass, and I'm like, well, the bass is kind of backbeat. You don't really play a song on the bass, you play the backbeat. And then she gave me a hard time for doing things that were somewhat repetitive because, you know, bass, my friend had the lead. And she ended up basically bitching at me to the point that I just put it down and said, fuck it, I'm not putting up with being bitched at constantly. So then she sold it to a friend of hers without telling me about it. Never got the fucking money for it. And then years later, after I got remarried, my current wife decided to buy me a bass, and I was very thrilled by it. I'm sitting there thinking, wow, she must love me. She has no idea if I can make anything pleasant come out of it or not.
Yeah, but you could at least play like Minstrel in the Gallery. You just need to go like... I guess lag's probably a really bad move at this point. Nobody's in time with anybody.
No, you can't, absolutely can't through Hangouts.
You would have to play solo and mute the other people and do a visual cue. And even then...
This is why what people do is they record their part and send it to somebody and then have them mix their part in.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can do. Doesn't matter. You're talking about bass. Ibanez.
Yeah, you can't really play slap bass on the guitar.
I love that one.
This is actually Epiphone.
Well, I mean, I had the same issue.
Sorry, this is the Yamaha. The original was an Epiphone.
But
they had the same issue when they were doing that live. People from different places forming a band live on one stage.
Yeah.
And what they had to do was delay the live audio just as much as the incoming feed or something to sync it up. It was weird.
It was weird. You cannot do it live.
Oh no, you can't. You really can't. No.
Oh well, maybe eventually. Hell, at this point, I might be able to play hers. I got my wife one that she was like, "Oh, I might want to learn at some point." So I said, "What the hell?" So we do have a lead here, but it's a 3/4 size. My fingers aren't extending much. Maybe I can actually play it now.
But there it is. We're talking about bass. My
Yeah, that's nice.
7 Ibanez, and I have taken away the chords, so it's fretless, but the chords there, and I love it. And I'm not using what do you grind it? Is that a word even?
Can we hear it?
I don't think you can. You can only hear it from my mic. I have no speaker here. Sorry. Sorry. But I love that one because it is like it's like a combination of heavy metal and jazz, and I just love it.
Yeah, I've always appreciated Chris Maudy and his 6-string bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 5 strings. So of course.
Very restrained.
Always 5
because,
strings.
I don't know if you can quite see that kind of tower speaker there.
Oh.
That's.
It's kind of it's quite tall.
you know I've got a hard on right now, Andy. I hope you know.
Yeah.
I was when I began as a bass player, I was on a disco speaker, a disco bass speaker that have you put the speaker up and then you put it around like a circle to just get more bass, and then I just have the screamers on that. So it was like when I play one chord, it was like the whole roof and the whole floor was like.
I'm like in a one-bedroom apartment in Midtown Manhattan, and I've got a 2-kilowatt PA in my living room.
And then I have a screamer. I have not some bass thing. I have a screamer just to get the noise from the frets, and I was like, "Yeah, I love this."
But the thing about a giant rig is that you don't need to turn it up loud for it to sound good.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was a house I lived in at one point, and it was one of these, it's one of these layouts that they have 4 little houses, right next to each other, actually with combining walls, so basically like an apartment. It was basically like a duplex, but it was a quadplex. And every once in a while, I'd sit there and I'd keep the volume down low, try to be respectful, and be sitting there playing on the bass or whatever. And the damn kids next door would go out and throw the jumper. At which point, I'd grab the acoustic and pull that out and go ahead. Then a few minutes later, they'd flip the jumper again, and the power would come back on. Then I'd go back to the guitar.
For me, it's more like I need a rig that make the it's hard to explain, but I play many things on mute strings. So I play not chords. I play many things on mute strings. So I have to have a speaker that make the scramble from the bass visible.
Yeah.
So for
especially with the fretless, like it's gonna be without amplification, it's gonna sound muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, it's like I actually play on the muted string, so I have to have a speaker that do my sound, and I'm like a drummer on the bass, so I'm like I'm fucked up.
Check to see if we've got
So,
any.
as usual, I'm always wrong. I know.
8 viewers still.
Yeah. Well, we still got viewers. I was just checking to see if we'd had anything on Q&A. We usually don't, but
yeah.
Instead, we have people commenting, complaining that the side chat isn't working again, and I'm complaining along with them, just not out loud.
Yep. I think we all are.
I'd rather have that live dialogue. Then I get to actually talk with people in the comments. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
What? Are you talking to people? Oh,
Especially because typing
I
right
don't know. Like, haven't you been in, like, back in the days when XSplit was working, there'd be, like, this kind of Baldur's Gate-esque interface, and the film strip along the bottom, and Shadow's got his own little window, and then there's another little window with the chat just scrolling by.
Yeah, and I got to actually put my split window back up there so I can have my camera and then the main screen.
Yeah.
Just have to get that set back up at some point, but...
I can say, when all your problems you were talking about, I wasn't on the internet. The problem is I was, but I didn't.
Yeah, it's only actually when I came back to the US that all that shit stopped working. You know, it kind of reminds me of Asia. Your like cool XSplit hangouts.
Which reminds me, I have to renew my license sometime next month. And looks like they changed their billing on how they're doing it with licensing, so that's going to be a pain in the ass. This is what happens, a program starts becoming popular, they start charging actual money. It's no longer, give us a few bucks for the year. Now it's like, actually pay us. Well, fuck you.
Yeah, but don't they kind of grandfather in your incredibly cheap plan or something?
No, they don't, unfortunately.
Bastards.
Yeah, if they did, I'd be much happier about it. That and they're trying to promote the 4Gamers version more than the regular now. So they really don't give a shit.
There's more money in the gamers.
Yep, you got that right. And that reminds me, how long have we been running? I should check that. Because normally with shuffles and whatnot, I usually try to keep them from getting too long.
2 hours and 8 minutes, approximate.
Ooh. So we're technically in overtime already. Oh, shit.
Well, if we're in overtime, I want to have something represented at least once with all this musical talk. I used to play French horn, so brass represent.
Yeah, that sounds like a euphemism of some kind.
Oh, I know, especially since I played the double.
Oh.
And the thumb trigger. A lot of thumb action.
You know that real men double up.
Yeah, only one thing to say about that. I play the flute. And then I rest my case about
the embouchure is very similar.
Yeah. So then we play the same flute or something. Sorry.
Now, there was an occasion a while back that we'd been sitting there, and there had been so much drama in the community. It had just been going nuts with it for a while. But it's not just something completely different, and I did a hangout, and I basically was only allowing people in to play the musical instrument.
Yeah, boy.
The funny thing is, Pillbox came in.
Oh, shit.
And I'm sitting there thinking, like, because it was actually Chris Motti that said, he's like, hey, well, why don't you invite Pillbox? I'm thinking, oh, shit. Now, we had Bob Graves from the New Covenant group in there. We had Stiggy in there at one point. Bruce Shepard is what he's going by now. And a few other people. We're just chilling out talking music. And we get Pillbox in there because Maudi's like, no, it's okay, man. So I invite him in there, and Pillbox comes in and he goes, so what are you talking about? And I'm like, we're talking about music. And he's like, oh, good. And perfectly fine from that point on. I'm like, wow, okay, he can.
Yeah, I mean, for all the fact that he is a fucking twat, Pillbox is actually quite an accomplished musician.
Yeah. We actually had a great little conversation. It was one of the, as far as I'm concerned, one of the more enjoyable hangouts I ended up having. Because it was so off of what the normal beaten path was.
Yeah.
Good grief, she's still blowing up my phone. What now, kiddo?
But fortunately, I have not had the displeasure of interacting with him.
What I cannot ever understand is like how we can. It's hard to find a word in English, but
he doesn't think.
No, probably that. But how we can distract your musical life from your mental world viewing. For me, it's like. For me, it's like.
The two are not connected in my experience. You, when you're playing music, it's not an intellectual endeavor.
No.
Yeah.
But for me, I cannot separate the two. Probably because I make music and make the lyrics and make everything.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I cannot just make music and then make a bullshit lyric. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
and then
somebody
I cannot.
Somebody once asked me why I don't write any happy songs, and I said, well, because when I'm happy, I've got better things to do than write songs.
Exactly.
So true.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, music, like any art, when done well, comes from passion. So that's it's, one may say, the spiritual side of our humanity, which is all of our rational side, our irrational, our physical, everything rolled into one, and just here it is.
Yeah, however, like, I mean, although I don't do it now, I worked for 15 years as a scientist, and the creative process in science feels exactly the same as the creative process in music or painting, as crap as I am at that, or at writing. It's an imaginative process.
Exactly.
Which is something that seems to be lost in the discussion of the debate at the moment. That like science is somehow reified into this. This edifice of intellectual endeavor, and it's not. It's an imaginative process. It's a creative process, and it's and the only difference between like science and art, in my experience of having done each of them to whatever crappy level I've managed to attain in each of them, it's like the only difference is that you do some science, somebody else somewhere else will do the same science and come to the same result. Whereas if you do some music, no one else will do that particular piece of music.
But that's not true, because the chords you do will be the same.
If you do the three major chords in the key, a million people have done that. But if you actually do something original, something new, something...
I understand your thought. For me, that's also the problem with the 80s fucking debate also, because but that's also the problem, because they think they are so fucking original, and it's like, no, you're not. 20 fucking thousand people have thought your thought, and it's not God, it's not your scientific brother. There are 20,000.
But I don't think that's true, Johan. I don't think you can say that someone else has thought your thoughts, because well, I mean, maybe they have and maybe they haven't, but we have no way to verify that.
Yeah, okay. What I want to come to the point is, and I actually agree to it, you cannot know, but the thing is, we are like, for me as a musician that I think I am, is like we have 12 chords. Chords. Sorry, we have 12.
12 chromatic notes, 7 diatonic
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah, we have 12 notes, and they can be combined in a couple of ways, and we can mathematically actually make a list of how they can be combined.
What you can say.
Wait.
Okay.
And that is that if you do a song, you will have done. Any other person will have done that, but you can do your own interpretation of it, and that can be a good one.
I mean, what you can verify is that somebody has thought something that made them do the same fucking boring, unoriginal shit that you came out with. Exactly what it is that they thought that made them do that.
Yeah, true.
You can't tell.
Yeah, okay. I agree.
You know,
with
their
that.
thoughts could have been completely unprecedented.
Actually, absolutely. Oh.
But I mean, the thing is, in terms of this proverbial great debate community, it is really mostly the same recycled arguments, just repackaged.
Yeah.
And even then,
babies are atheists.
Hang on. But even then, when we're sitting there and somebody's sitting there in comment sections or whatever, and they try to pose something, I don't give them my answer typically. I don't give them the the way I feel or think about it. I typically open up my little can, because we all have our canned replies to their canned arguments, and that's what we do. Is we spend all this time just passing cans around the room.
Yeah.
Knee-jerk.
That's the most common iteration of what this proverbial discussion is just people passing back and forth their canned arguments. And it gets tiring and really old from both sides.
The problem I have sometimes is with the 80s community. They seem to think they are right. For me, it is.
Yeah, but Johan, they are.
Well,
yeah,
no.
but the
sorry,
problem,
I'm just kidding.
But the problem is, if you now we come to the important part of this. If you go out with that knowledge you are right, and then you tell everyone you are wrong, and then you have that pompous ass attitude against people that actually trying to have a life, they try to make their religion pass through their life, they have to make the religion mean something in their life, they have support from a supreme being that I know don't exist. I know they don't exist, but if you're going to talk to that person and then you say, I'm right, you're stupid, go fuck yourself, you will not reach that person.
But I think that I mean, and I don't know, and I hesitate to claim that I have something new to bring to this shit, because I probably don't. But I have I have found watching the debate incredibly frustrating lately, because I mean, take what's the guy that everyone's kind of ignoring at the moment? Fucking twat features. Roy Montero, right? So Roy Montero he goes, okay, like God or not God, and everyone goes, well, no, don't really know. Maybe God, and he goes off on his fucking conniption, which is exactly what he's been planning to begin with, and nobody's actually gone, well, okay, why God? I start with God. Take me to the next step. What's the next step after God? Right? Because I don't have a mind-independent reality. I don't even know that I exist. I don't know this thing. All I know is God. Where do I go from there?
But the thing is, as I see it, you don't have to fight the next step. You have to fight the person that are beyond the next step. You have to fight. You have to say to the person that are that are trusting in Jesus or whatever, and as a supportive, blah blah blah. You have to get
the thing
because
is,
no,
Johan,
but yeah.
I think that like you know and I know that there is no next fucking step.
The problem that
I think it is.
Hang on. One second. I just want to make the brief comment that I found that whenever you try to swing to punch something that doesn't exist, you tend to miss.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nicely said, Shadow.
Because it's like that. I am call myself a Buddhist, but not because I think everything in Buddhism is right. I call myself a Buddhist because I think many things in the philosophy of Buddhism is right. So if you're going to, I'm not a good example, but we say that I'm a militant Buddhist.
Militant Buddhist.
Yeah, is that even
how does that work?
Yeah,
there are.
What there actually
they like really meditate intensely.
Yeah, they are actually all militant Buddhists, but let's say I was that person. If you told me that Buddha is he's have all things wrong, and then I will shoot you. But if you, but it is, I hate this debate.
Yeah, I mean, where I was going with the next step. Where I was going with the next step thing is that this entire like debate seems to consist almost entirely of gotcha arguments, which are all like misdirections. They're all like tricks to make you go the wrong way.
Yeah.
Point scoring.
Yeah. And if you just actually go in the direction that they tell you to go, it's clear almost immediately that there's nothing there.
Exactly.
And nobody does that. Everybody just falls for the trick.
Yeah. I actually agree there.
I'm pretty sure that if you sit down with someone like Arcane, who I've never spoken to, right, and he goes, no, you need to start with God and then you have an epistemology, and they go, okay, I'm starting with God. How do I get an epistemology from there? But he won't have an answer to that.
True. I actually agree too. But what I suggest is more that many people, I have a friend that are Christian, and many friends that are Christian, of course, but they that are talking about this shit they are few. What you have to try as an atheist or whatever, if you want to make it better, because Christianity and many religions are a problem, is to go to them that are not fundamentalist or something. They just believe in a God that actually helped them. Then they pray and so on, and then you have to realize that is a support for them. So what do you give them instead of that fake support?
Yeah, but support for them instead of what? Sorry?
Yeah, but that's the question. Because if you believe in God, if you believe in God,
hang on.
The God is a support for them. So
hang on.
Let
me jump in here for a second. I think the notion is it's kind of like you have somebody walking around and they've been leaning on crutches for so long they don't realize they don't need them anymore. I think is a good analogy to what I think is trying to be.
Actually.
So when you say you don't need those crutches anymore, what do you give them to take the place of the psychological security they get from that pair of crutches?
Can I throw something in here, which is may seem different, but I think the whole thing is a distraction for something even more fundamental in the whole, even before the God thing.
Mm.
The supernatural, because without that you can't communicate with anything. Nothing works. So whether God is yay or nay, you'd never know because you have no connection and no possible connection. That's the real area that needs to be, and thank you, Shadow, for doing your part in it, exposing and ripping apart. Because that gets at all the woo, every aspect.
Well,
sorry about that. That was an iPad crash and reboot.
Yay, iPad.
What I actually had fun with was the day that I was sitting there dealing with a couple of folks, and I just found myself trying to explain to a theist in a hangout what a tulpa was, and trying to explain to them that God was a tulpa.
Well, and by the way, I'm saying this as somebody who used to profess being a very powerful psychic. And I did a damn, no, seriously, I did a damn good job, so much. A girl young lady I did a reading on one time, 2 years later, came back to me and said, you were right about the friend leaving me at that year point. Getting nicknames from dead grandfathers. I mean, some things I still wonder where the hell I got. But you listen and you don't know what you pick up on and what will come out. Especially in cold readings.
Yeah, I had an astrology reading once where the detail they wanted was right down to the minute that I was born.
Yeah,
and I told them, and this thing that they told me was incredibly accurate. They told me the kind of person I was. They told me my personality. They told me some aspects of my history. The thing is, I completely lied about the minute, the hour, the month, and the year that I was born.
Cool.
They didn't read the stars. They read me.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's your point. There is your point. I am not a person that say that things are spooky in any way. I actually think you have to have evidence, because if you don't have evidence, I don't believe in it. But the thing is, I actually think also that I'm a Buddhist, so I think reincarnation is plausible, but I know that reincarnation is not a fact because we have no evidence for it.
Okay, Johan, let's go back to music for a moment to answer that on reincarnation. Seriously, your argument on the number of notes and the number of scales is a finite way of expressing music. Reincarnation, it apply the same argument and you get the same damn answer. Sorry.
No, the thing that bothers me about reincarnation is that yeah, I mean, in principle, this could be true, even though there's a complete absence of some mechanism whereby you can be like reborn into another life. But so like here I am, like struggling my way through fucking life. I don't remember anything about any previous lives, so either one, this is like my first life, which is not inconceivable. There were lots more people than there used to be, so many people must be on their first life. Or two, this is not my first life, and I don't actually remember anything of the previous life. I'm making all the same fucking mistakes I made before.
Yeah.
So, what
Andy,
I have no problem. Wait a minute.
Andy, no, hold on. Tinge, hold on.
Wait a minute.
I got one more to add to Andy's list, then you can have the floor. Andy, 3 would be the waiting list to come back around has gotten shorter because there are more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, no.
So seriously, you think I'm on the waiting list?
No, hang on. Wait. No.
What do you know about reincarnation? First of all, now the thing here is I don't. I'm like, sorry, I'm not going to defend reincarnation because I'm like everybody else. I'm like, yeah, reincarnation might be, I'm like, so don't take me for a fun deal or something, but how many souls, if reincarnation is true, if you believe in Buddhist thoughts, then ants reincarnate, wasp reincarnate. So if you take this thing about reincarnation, more souls reincarnate. First part you have a problem with, in Buddhist, souls don't reincarnate. Buddhists don't believe in souls. So you're wrong there. And you are wrong in the thing about talking about we are more people, because everything that are living reincarnate.
Yeah, I know. Okay, ants are reincarnated as people.
One thing there. So if you're going to argue with a Buddhist, you will fail. That's also the problem with Christians and so on, because you don't understand the philosophy of the religion they seem to, so you have to understand what they believe, and every person believes different things, so you have to understand what each person believes, because then you can argue with them. That is my point. Right.
Sounds like the personal relationship with Jesus to me.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that if reincarnation is true in the way that you describe it, that and cross-species reincarnation and everything, then this tells you that, and there aren't new people. This tells you that there are a finite number of things that can be alive at any one time, which is an incredibly profound point.
Well, add aliens.
And it's something that's measurable. Yeah, we could measure the number of things that are alive and count them. And if that number is changing,
but you're talking about people.
Hang on, I'm interrupting.
You're talking about people.
Guys, I'm cutting in here for a couple minutes. First off, there is like the Hindu belief, for example, that there's also, you have to add animals into the equation. But
absolutely, that's what I mean. I didn't say there was a finite number of people.
Hang on.
I said there were a finite number of things that can be alive at any one time.
But hang on. But now there are those that'll sit there and promote the notion of like newer souls and this and that. But the modern day New Age movement claims that we are all ancient souls, that we all have been around here for ancient amounts of time. And the reason that they make for this is that many of us used to be aliens on alien planets, and this is why we have, like, for example, the Indigo children now, is these kids were higher dimensional alien beings previously.
Which
is Scientology as well.
Yeah.
But wait a second. Is it a controversial position to say that at some point in the past there were less things alive than there are now?
That is correct. Yeah, that is a correct statement.
There must have been at some
point in time,
in the very, very distant past, there must have been less things alive than there are now.
Okay, from a Buddhist point of view, I can read that, whatever, because Buddhists don't actually think that there is souls. They think the most common explanation, in this case, for me it's like, I have to explain that. For me, I'm more Buddhist on a philosophical level. I think the Buddhist philosophy is a good thing for me when I live. I don't actually God is reincarnation and so on. So I actually give a fuck about it. But what you're talking about is that they don't talk about souls. Their explanation of how this reincarnation is brought about is more like they explain it like there is a candle, so there is a fire that lights another candle, and there's no soul. It's more of a the candle remember what have
Right.
been
So
and light another candle.
So new life forms can come into existence in this kind of reincarnation cycle in the same way that the candle set fires to the curtain.
Yeah, that's why. So it is not that you have accountable souls. It's more like everything have a. They don't say that they have a soul. They say that
every soul
everything.
For him, that's Christian.
Therefore, many things that are alive now must be on their first cycle. Yeah, because the curtains were not.
But if
well, it goes to what Shadow. Do you remember what I think Tommy Hall was talking about, or trying to explain, where even particles have life, as it were? That it's the whole concept of energy and what energy is.
Yeah, but Tommy's off his fucking rocker, and
Yeah,
particles don't have life.
Yes. But it's like the passing on of the information of the quantum, and don't go there, Headless. You know, they're using. Yeah, exactly.
Again.
No, it's just that's how it's structured in reincarnation, where the information is not lost.
Paranor, are you urging for quantum stillness and the fluctuations of? I don't know.
My tongue was on a roll. I just went with it.
Yeah, he was referring to the quantum of the quantum that quantifies the quantum.
Well, thank you for not interrupting me with it.
What did you say?
I mean,
it only goes to further qualify the quantum.
But don't misunderstand me, Johan. I'm not criticizing. I'm analyzing, and it's interesting.
It's okay.
If you take the principles that you begin with and like follow them logically forward to where they lead.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second, Andy. With the statement you made about there had to be a finite amount of living things. Let me finish.
Yeah, you begin.
If my understanding of reincarnation is correct, at some point you're supposed to reach enlightenment and you're removed from the system. So therefore, at some point, the number of living things should be in decline.
Yeah.
Actually,
maybe not steadily, but it should always be declining. Because something always reaches enlightenment.
Well, it depends on which school of thought you go.
Like I said, depends if I'm correct on it or not. I know there's going to be something that'll contradict it.
If you go to some schools, they regain their life and then they help other souls, souls are long in belief. They help others to actually go to the other states or whatever. So what you say, it depends on everybody's thought is that we should not even live. Which
so I mean, it makes sense to me under this model that at some point in the future, like all us and the chickens and the bees will all be in nirvana. Yeah. But the thing is, we don't get to look at the future, we get to look at the past. And when we look at the past, we see that in the past, there were less things alive than there are now. So there seems to be a mechanism whereby new entities in this reincarnatory cycle can come into existence.
Hang on.
But that is the thing.
Shadow has the hat.
Think that the world.
Wait.
No, sorry. Can I say something? That is the thing that you think that the world, the planet that we live on, is everything.
No, I don't.
But even then, going back, there'd be a time that there'd be less things. There had to be the initial spark somewhere. It goes, then you can say
that the initial spark is only one spark, and then it will only be one spark all the time.
And that doesn't work.
Nah, that doesn't work. This theory says that it is one spark and it doesn't change.
Yeah, but let's just say at a complete guess that right now in the universe there are 100 trillion living entities, right, across all the, across the Earth, every ant, every bacteria, every person, every alien. Let's just put a number on that. Let's just say it's 100 trillion. Yeah. That's kind of a lot. One Planck time after the Big Bang, there were 0 living entities. So in between now,
theory, then it wouldn't be nothing more than 0 living entities, because you say to me that it has to be a fixed number of entities.
No, like I said, I just guessed.
Yeah, you said that.
But there's a lot, right? I just put a number on it. I just said 100 trillion.
Yeah, you said that because you said that souls cannot be more. There cannot be more souls or less souls, and so on, because there is a fixed number of souls. But if you say that, then it's a fixed number of souls from the beginning of the Big Bang.
I never said there was a fixed number of souls.
You said that. Sorry.
Johan, I think you said that out. Andy said that there were fewer things alive in the past.
Yeah. And I think according to modern cosmological models, there was a time when there were 0 things alive.
Yeah, but okay, it wasn't fixed.
So
but
if it was, wait a minute. Between 0 and 100 trillion.
Wait a minute. If it was fewer in the past, they grown to be more. So what has that to do with reincarnation at all?
Yeah, it's like, where did these new ones come from? And I'm not looking for answers here. I'm looking for interesting questions.
But for me, it's like.
You ready yet?
That has nothing to do with reincarnation. That has more to do with where did the other. You said to me that it was fewer souls or whatever we call it before, and now it's
fewer
more.
Things alive in the past.
Fewer things alive in the past, and now it's more things alive, and then you take that as an argument for.
There would have to be a mechanism by which souls come into being.
Why? Why is that thought about?
Because I guess the interesting point I was following is that if everything is reincarnated, as I believe Buddhists believe, if they're not, but let's just make the assumption that everything is reincarnated,
okay.
Then every time that something dies, averaging over the waiting period, then every time something dies, there must be a new life form for that entity to be reborn into. Yeah. So this tells you that on average there is a constant number of things alive, apart from those reaching nirvana. Yeah, which tells you that the number must be decreasing. Yeah, and yet we see the number increasing. So therein lies the tension. That's the tension that I'm seeing.
Does that say that reincarnation is not true in itself?
Well, if reincarnation is not true, then we're not.
No, wait a minute. No, wait. Actually, I don't give a fuck if it is. But for me, it's like when it say this, you say if an example. If five persons are born and they reincarnate, and you have 10 people reborn from whatever,
Yeah.
and they reincarnate because.
But wait a second.
Wait. But you have said to me right now that we began with less entities, and we regained and got more entities. And if we get more entities, nothing in your equation say that entities that are reborn from nothing, as you said, are not going to be reborn. Also reincarnated.
But at that point, I think it's time to recognize the hat.
Yes, please.
Oh.
The hat is on. Can I speak yet? In my own fucking hangout. Thank you. Now, in any case, of course, there are multiple different views pertaining to reincarnation, but if you go back to some of the older views, you have something that is referred to, well, I refer to it as the Broth of Oblivion because that was what I was first introduced to it as. And this is where one goes, so to speak, after they die, where they are dipped into the Broth of Oblivion. This is where all of their experiences are drawn away from you. Now, with all that is drawn away from you, this is where the new souls would come from, is basically you are, when you are recreated, it is not simply that one soul you were, but you become one with the Broth of Oblivion, and then out of that, from that broth, all the new souls are poured. So it doesn't matter how many...
Again, my time's up, so I'll catch you next time. Good night, guys.
Okay, take care.
Yeah.
So, but in any case, one of the old classical notions, I don't know if he's going to catch this later, hopefully he will. One of the old classic notions is this concept that whether somebody's enlightened and they, after reaching enlightenment, they spend additional time in this proverbial well of souls or broth of oblivion, whatever term you're going to go with, that soul is then diffused through it, allowing more new souls to come from them. So that when your soul's put together, it's not simply the one soul you started off with, but it's from this proverbial well of souls or broth of oblivion itself that you are a conglomeration of every soul that you were once a part of to create the new soul that you come back with.
Yeah.
And the idea of that they use, I hate to take it to a movie, but it's my only reference to it, with Seven Sign and the idea of the guff, and she was to refill the guff because it was empty of souls. So her one would replenish the whole.
It's kind of a similar concept. But with this concept is that once somebody reaches the stage of enlightenment, nobody gets to the proverbial nirvana. Nobody really gets that. That's the unattainable goal that people are going for. But you never really get there because once you get to the edge of that true enlightenment, just whoop, there you go, and you're now 100 people trying to search for enlightenment instead of just the one because you cannot do it alone. Because it is not a singular path.
And
exactly.
The whole argument that I had was the thing with all of it. I am a Buddhist on a philosophical. I think.
I know.
To make it, I think if you do good things, you get good things back. To make it easy, and when we talk about reincarnation and so on, I'm like, okay. But the thing is, if you're going to make a person that are not like me, that thinks reincarnation is a skeptic, then you cannot do that what he did, because he's wrong.
Well, he's trying to just have a thought, basically a discussion in terms of the thought experiment.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I talked to her.
All right. Night, guys.
So,
night.
Good night. Have a cool night. But if he's going to make me not be Buddhist, he's wrong.
He's not trying to make you not be Buddhist. He's trying to understand the concept.
Sorry.
Because there are certain parts of the concept that just don't necessarily make sense, because in a lot of varied viewpoints, there's a certain amount of souls, and there always has been and always will be that amount of souls. But at some point, there was no light in the universe.
I understand you, and I understand him also. For me, it wasn't. I am what I am and don't care. But for me, it's like, I think that is important, even in the Christian, in whatever religious thought you want to. If you want to make a person understand that your thought is wrong, then you must understand the thought.
Oh, I think he was trying to.
Yeah, for me it's okay. I like that guy. I love it. It was a wonderful conversation.
Yes,
it made me understand my thoughts too. So I'm glad. I'm glad.
I'm was pleased to no end that he played some of the guitar. Wow, that was nice.
I was like, shit, I wanted to push my guitar in too. I was like, no, I cannot.
No.
That was cool.
No, it's kind of yeah.
Anyway, different rabbit hole than we normally go down, but we are well into overtime. We're actually approaching the 3-hour mark. We normally stop at about 2. So I really should consider calling the broadcast fairly soon.
It's okay. I'm glad to be with you in the broadcast. It was fun to be.
Happy for a change.
I have actually tried to be in your broadcast, but my life is like
your life is on a different side of the planet.
Yeah, that too. But my life is on a different side of the planet and really complicated. So that don't make it easy.
And on that note, I am going to call it for those of you that watch. Thank you for joining us. Like, subscribe,
penis,
whatever the hell. Oh, son of a bitch! I almost made it through the whole thing. Oh well, fuck it. Take care, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Take care.
Oh, and to the thumb down troll, get to fucking work. You missed some.